Reaffirming and carrying.
Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Everybody. What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show we basically talk about all things going on in what is it? Celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics. Y'all know all the good stuff. So, and we're gonna get political today. So I know, so I always say sometimes we are, but there's a couple of political stories we got to get into, including, of course, we got to talk Avatar: Fire and Ash. The numbers are out. Plus, they showed the Odyssey trailer. I'll get my thoughts on that. Plus, the whole Chris Evans uh situation with him announcing he's back officially as a part of the MCU after they revealed it during the coming attractions. We'll talk about Stranger Things 5 because we did the first one. So now the second half, we're going to do it for this one. We got to talk about the actual time, like the length of the episode. So I have that for you guys. Also, Kelly Ripa thinks she knows who the killer is in Scream 7. She thinks she married to him. We got to talk about Bari Weiss just pretty much destroying what's left of CBS with her propaganda, her BS, and then pulling that the segment regarding the Trump administration sending innocent immigrants to a gulag in El Salvador, basically a concentration camp. So we're gonna break that story down. I even got the stuff that they pretty much took down. I found a clip. We're gonna put it up and we're gonna play it as a class. Plus, we're gonna talk about Minaj going full MAGAt, as I like to say. She out there cutting herself to Erika Kirk, and a video, funny enough, resurfaced of Erika's husband, basically throwing shade at Nicki. And I'm sure she running around with egg on her face after putting on that little performance, that Razzie Award winning before. And you would think somebody who went to the high school of performing arts, she would be able to act better than what she did yesterday. But we don't get into that clip. I mean, the stuff. I don't know if I want to play clips because her voice was like Ben Shapiro nails on a goddamn grating chalkboard. So I don't know if I want to play that, but we'll talk about it. I may decide to change my mind. Plus, we got to talk about Dave Chappelle going in on Israel and Bill Maher in his recent Netflix special. Beyonce is breaking her silence on the Cowboy Carter chaos after it became her highest grossing tour. Timothee Chalamet and whatever this this performance art piece he's doing right now with Marty Supreme. We got to talk about that. Plus, Corey Feldman is walking back claims that Corey Haim M-worded him after we talked about that story the other day. So now he got to change the tune. So we're gonna get into that. Plus, it looks like the Beckhams are still fighting. We got the reason why Brooklyn blocked his whole family on social media, including his mother. Then we got to talk about Pedro Pascal apparently being a heated Rivalry fan, and Christian Vincent, best known as Ricky from Noah's Ark, did an interview with gay magazine, and he started talking about his character and how a lot of the fandom, because he plays a slut on the show, or played a slut on the show, that he has been sexualized by the fan base. And that infamous scene of him kissing Wade before Noah and Wade walk down the aisle in the Jump in the Broom movie. So we got to talk about that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Funny enough, I didn't even make sure that my audio and everything was good, but based on y'all saying hola everybody, hold on. I was like, wait a minute now. I had to make sure the mic was on the mic. So we here, we good. Oh, so I guess y'all did hear me, but I had to put on the right mic. All right, y'all. So I see Cleveland's in the building, watching via the silly, and it's a love your girl. I love your poppy. I love your poppy. Shout out to Jennifer Lopez who about to do her little Vegas residency. All right, y'all. So now let me hit my banner. And without further ado, I don't waste nobody's time. Let's get right into these topics because the holidays is this week, and I was like, I still got to give y'all a show while everybody else want to take a damn vacation. But nevertheless, we here, and I love what I do, so that's why I'm gonna just say what I want to say. Oh wait, hold on, because I forgot. I need to put on the thing so I can see y'all. Oh, so y'all did hear me when I said on the mic because I was like, wait a minute, and then looked like the mic was on the mic, the right one. But y'all heard me regardless of what feed it was on. But anyway, let's get into the show. I hit the banner. let's get in our first topic. So I guess, a lot of people have been out here talking about the year. They don't think Avatar Fire and Ash is gonna do as well as the previous two movies, which did over $1 billion. But apparently it ignited with 88 million in its domestic box office debut. It's a decent start, albeit a significant decline from the opening weekend of 2022 sequel, the Way of Water, which came in with 134 million. However, large question looms about the financial fate of the big budgeted blockbuster. How will James Cameron's third trip to Pandora hold over the holiday season? Well, funnily enough, the thing about Avatar movies, they've never really done well opening weekend. They've always done like small numbers. But at this point, we're in the third movie. Y'all should be able to come out the gate, guns blazing, big numbers immediately. But I guess because there's been other films that people have been running to go see, I just don't feel like, honestly, the way I've been reading the tea leaves are based on me going to the theater and just feeling the energy in the room. People to me haven't really been all that excited for Avatar outside of the film pundit bubble, or those people who are hardcore fans. But I don't know anybody who really was like, oh my God, I have to go see Avatar. I never kind of felt that energy from anybody. And to me, to be honest, I feel like people are kind of over it. Like the technology isn't new and innovative anymore. I don't know if people care about the story of like wanting to spend time in Pandora as they once did. And these movies take forever to come out. So um sequels really aren't engaging as they once were. So, according to EW, they said, "Be thrilled, be grateful, be anything you like, but don't be surprised that Avatar: Fire and Ash just broke the bank at the weekend's box office. The third in James Cameron's planned five-part saga got a great start domestically." With 88 million in its premiere debut, but shot to the moon and back globally with 345 million by the time Sunday rolled out. Per ComScore, the domestic figure marks a fairly significant downturn from its predecessor, 2022's Avatar: The Way of Water, which summoned 134 million, as previously mentioned, over the course of its premiere weekend, but it does tick up from 2009 franchise starter, which earned 77 million. Each Avatar film has launched the weekend before Christmas, and parts one and two have proved to have long legs, racking up hundreds of millions in their walks into the and through the new year. So I don't think people are really all that worried, or the studio Disney. I don't think they're all that worried about the fact that, oh, it doesn't do well opening weekend. It, of course, it's going to do slightly better than the first film because that was the first movie. The second movie, of course, because people like the first movie, that's going to do bigger. But now, after people saw like the second film, and then people saw the, based on the reviews of the third movie, there were people saying, "Oh, it repeats the same beats as the second one." Oh, it's like it kind of, and then there were some people that were doing the reviews that, oh, they didn't mind the fact that it was, of course, repeating the same beats because it's a continuation of the previous story. So I guess maybe that's what they wanted to pretty much stick with, and that basically was that. But like I said, I wasn't really all that excited for Avatar. I saw Avatar movies, I thought they were okay. It was never like something amazing. Now the one thing I am looking forward to seeing is the Odyssey, because after seeing that trailer that they released finally on YouTube, it actually looks good. But I don't know if that's the same thing that people saw in the theater, the 6 minute prologue or whatever the hell they're calling it. A friend of mine did see it, said that it looks really good. He also told me that with the whole Chris Evans trailer thing, that it's basically, oh, they're just announcing he's back. I'm like, and y'all wanted to pay me to pay $25 for IMAX ticket to see that? I'm like, I could just post that shit online. So that means 2025 is well and redeemed at the domestic box office, despite long, slow stretches and worrying follow summer. Fire and Ash premiere marks the fifth major groundswell at U.S. theaters in as many weeks, following the releases of Wicked for Good, which did well, Zootopia 2, which also did well, and then, of course, Five Nights at Freddy's 2, which boasts a combined gross in excess of 700 million. And yeah, even though Five Nights at Freddy's 2 was a god-awful movie, I hated it. It was bad. The script was terrible. The acting was terrible. A lot of the like non-existent kill. I mean, people died, but how would we know? We ain't even get to see it. But the movie was god awful, but I guess it doesn't matter because the fans love what they like, and as long as it makes money, that's all they care about. And and I just saw also earlier, Variety put it as one of their worst films of 2025. So I'm sure a lot of, that movie will be making a lot of worst movies of 2025 lists. But I guess it don't matter because, like I said, the fandom loves the movies. So now, speaking of eye-popping combined grosses, Cameron's Avatar franchise has now earned over 5.6 billion at the global box office, breaking every conceivable record for franchise profitability. Now, still, Fire and Ash's monumental global premiere figure didn't eclipse the record set by Zootopia 2, which started with 556 million, and China's animated mythic epic Neja 2, which premiered at 431 million. Now, Wicked for Good, Zootopia 2, and Five Nights at Freddy's 2 are all still going strong at 5, 4, and 3 weeks in theaters, respectively. But even more good box office news came this week, and the fact of their all being sidelined to 3 additional new premieres. And of course, we got to talk about the Sydney Sweeney movie, because guess what? She came out with a movie this weekend too. Now, did she do well, or was this adding to her collection of flops? Because remember, she had 3 previous flops before The Housemaid. So let's get into it. So, the Christian produced House Angel Studios, a newly minted major player in town, released the PG rated animated musical David to Silver Medal success on the domestic charts with a 22 million premiere take. The family friendly take on the iconic tale of David and Goliath also registered internationally at number 3, despite only opening into additional territories, Canada and Australia. At number 3, Lionsgate scored a surprising win with the erotic thriller The Housemaid, starring Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried. Their adaptation of the bestseller by Frida McFadden opened at 19 million across just over 3,000 theaters for a strong per theater average of 6,032. Finally, at number 4 was the SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants. Nicki was in the movie as Squidward. They said the animated romp featured the voices of George Lopez, Mark Hamill, and rapper Ice Spice. Child. And did you see the outfit she wore on that carpet? Earned 16 million in its domestic debut. Ice Spice could barely rap, so now she can act. But I guess it don't take much to like speak of an animated character as Beyonce and Rihanna. So with The Housemaid doing really well, this goes to show that these are the type of films that they want to see Sydney Sweeney in. They don't want to see you playing some boxing bulldagger. They don't want to see you playing all these other little characters like you trying to show that you got range, you can act. They basically want to see you playing a femme fatale. They want to see you playing some meek-mannered girl who turns out to be a hoe or got ulterior motives and just show your titties. They want you to be the new generation's Sharon Stone. Except I like Sharon Stone. I don't particularly care for her. And Sharon Stone has never been somebody out here who had decided to adapt right wing Republican ideologies in her personal life and try to make a coin out off of it where it backfires. So I guess they want her to be this generation Sharon Stone. We'll see if that's the direction she wants to follow. They want to see her playing Cassie in every damn movie. If you've seen Euphoria, you know what I'm talking about. Now, for the first time in over a month, next weekend's roster of new releases doesn't include any obvious breakaway hits. But we have Avatar, Wicked, and Zootopia were all sure things, but that doesn't mean Song Sung Blue can't surprise us all. And that's the movie with Hugh Jackman and Kate Hudson, where they're playing Mike and Claire Sardina, a couple who perform in a Neil Diamond tribute band called Lightning and Thunder. Why do I always think about that song, Thunder and Lightning, Lightning and Thunder? Who sings that? Is that Imagine Dragons? I don't know. I've been thinking about that when I be hearing that song, Lightning and Thunder. But anyway, so yeah, so they're doing that movie. I saw the trailers for that. That actually looks really interesting. I don't know if I want to go to the movies and see it, even though I got A-list. I could just use one of my A-list situations and go and see it. It's not like I'm really spending money, but I want to see that one. And I want to see the movie with Will Arnett where he plays a comedian. That one actually looks good too. So they said this is actually what a real love story is. This is what Brewer told the preview scene shared with Entertainment Weekly in November. You have this fantastic beginning to a relationship. There's music, there's fireworks, blah, 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 so on and so forth. So that's your pretty much your box office situation. So I didn't even know SpongeBob came out with a movie this damn weekend, but apparently it did. And I guess that's the Jesus movie, the one, the kid on the far right or the far left, next to Miss Sweeney. So it seemed like it was a big variety of stuff. Who knows? Maybe people go into the movies because of the holidays and a lot of people are on vacation. Me, I am not. Well, I got a couple of days off and I am working on Christmas. So, Knicks game. So um that's all I got right now. We'll just have to wait and see. Like, I guess the next thing is that we just gotta wait until after the holiday weekend to find out if Avatar is able to sustain and be like the little engine that could like repeat the same beats. Because look, they said the movie they repeating the same beats, so they're gonna be repeating the same beats in the box office, which means they're steadily just climbing up the thing, so that way they make whatever they're gonna make at the box office, or is it gonna be on a decline? Because it seems like overseas is where it's at, because domestic, y'all really don't stand behind nothing. Americans are such a fickle damn bunch. They just go for what's popular. Y'all don't. There's no loyalty amongst the American people unless you were homosexual. They don't, and then they loyal to their divas. But but other than that, when it comes to the movies or whatever, it's like y'all like something because it's hot in the moment, and then when it dies down, y'all move on to the next thing. So I don't know if people are really feeling it, but overseas they living for Avatar. So I say all this to say, have you seen the movie? What'd you think of the movie? Do you think it's got legs? Do you think that people are going to be willing to spend and see this movie over and over and over again, even though the movie is over 3 damn hours? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Excuse me. Harry Potter movies. Well, right now they got a Harry Potter TV series that they're working on that we're not going to see until I believe 2027. But I like the Harry Potter movies. I just don't like the person that wrote them. But with some of her political stuff that she's said. But as far as like the movies were the movies. I was never really big on Harry Potter. That was my younger brother. He was big on Harry Potter. My father would listen to when he was working. Now he's retired. He would listen to the audio books driving to work and back. My sister got into it because I guess it was a trend. I was never really big on Harry Potter, but I did see every movie when it came out, if that makes sense. Hold on, let me close this. I just came back from watching Green. Hey guys, I actually saw that video and I put it in the like my history to watch it. I was gonna watch it before I did the show, but I was doing so much stuff and putting the show together that I definitely need to check that one out. I wanted to watch it, but I didn't get around to it. So you came out and MAGA Minaj, and it was so good. I have many things to say about. Well, I can't wait to hear y'all thoughts. Be sure to chime in the comments. So you talking about Green Gay? Yeah, Green Gay is hilarious. The one I don't particularly care. Maybe I shouldn't say. There's one queen that I don't particularly care for. She a British queen, and all she do is just repeat every little thing. I'm like, where is you in this story? You're just like, oh, I'm just going to talk about the drama and everything, and you just rehash everything. But I'm like, so are you going to give me a full situation? Are you? No. What's his name? Oh my God, I forgot his name. But no, he's not Australian. He's English. He's like Angel Rama, whatever her name is. I forgot. I think his name is Mike or something or another. The name escapes me at the moment, but yeah, I don't particularly care because I always feel like you're not really giving me you. You just y'all think y'all just put a couple of clips in and show things and just do a whole recap, but I'm not getting your opinion. I like Bussy Queen, um, but I always want people to do like extensive research and then give your opinion. But then that's me. I can't expect everybody to do what I do. People do what they do. Like I said, Avatar is pretty to look at, yes, but not. That's why I said it's like it's pretty to look at. Like visually, it looks good, but to me, I feel like it's all style and no substance. It just lacks. It just doesn't feel like there's any substantialness to it. There's nothing deep that comes from an Avatar movie. Like I feel like if you're gonna be coming up and talking about cultures and building this world, and then there's the fire people and there's the water people and there's all these different cultures. Like where's the depth in that? I don't just want to look at a bunch of people and with dots on their head and a mic, and then it was like, oh yeah, we did all this in the studio, and there's all this is special effects, and we just added all. I'm like, okay, that's cute, but the story is just not giving me what I need. You can put as much spectacle in your damn movie as you want. Excuse me. Excuse me. What's going on with me today? I'm coughing, clearing my throat, burping. I'm having a Wendy Williams moment. Remember when she used to burp on air during Hot Topics? I be having the moments too. But we family up in here. Anyway, speaking of family, let's talk about a family that's about to go away around next week. talk about Stranger Things. So Stranger Things, as we did the first time when the first batch of episodes came out, the first four, and that was around Thanksgiving. Now we are literally 2 days away from, or 3 days away from the release of the next batch of episodes, episodes 5, 6, and 7. So yeah, so Ross Duffer, who basically created the Upside Down with his brother Matt Duffer, has revealed the final runtimes for the final season of Stranger Things, which I think we all kind of knew, but he's actually confirming. Like, so they said the 3 episodes that make up Stranger Things 5, Volume 2, will run for just about 3.5 hours total. Here's the breakdown. Episode 5, Shock Jock, comes in at 1 hour and 8 minutes. Episode 6, Escape from Kamazots. Is that a Dungeons and Dragons term? 1 hour 15 minutes, and then we have episode 7, The Bridge, which comes in at 1 hour 6 minutes. So Rose Dover's social media announcement on Monday also included a slight update of the series finale runtime. Stranger Things finale, The Right Side Up, will now run 2 hours and 8 minutes instead of the previously announced 2 hours and 5 minutes. So they just tacked on an extended 3 minutes to the episode. So that should be cool. Hopefully it's worth something and not just fan fodder service, whatever you want to call it. So the co-creator previously shared details about the Volume 2 update, saying on Instagram, it says Shock Jock picks up right after Volume 1's finale, Sorcerer, and that writer Frank Darabont. Let me find out Frank Darabont. I didn't know he wrote that. And I loved him when he was a part of The Walking Dead. Then they went and pushed him out, and he was pissed off about it. And look what happened when Walking Dead became trash. I wouldn't say after he left, but seasons later, when Scott Gimple and them act like they shit didn't stink over there, and they ran that damn series into the ground. And once y'all did that whole Negan story, you pissed off so many damn people, everybody bailed. But anyway, I just had to give Frank his flowers before we got into the rest of the story. So Frank Darabont has turned out something far darker and far scarier than his last Stranger Things episode, Turnbow Trap. Now, Escape from Kamazots sees Sean Levy returning as director. It's the biggest episode of the 3, and the performance make us cry every time we watch it. Child, does that mean somebody or bodies is gonna die? If y'all kill off Dustin, I'm gonna kill y'all. So y'all better not kill off my Dustin, because I love me some Dustin. And Dustin and Steve, y'all better leave them two alone. And the black one, don't kill him off. We gotta have our token. I know I should have said whatever. I'm glad I can say it. So, and then they also said The Bridge is co-directed by Levy with the Duffer Brothers, and this one they didn't want to share too much, but that aside from the finale, is probably the most emotional chapter of the season. Adding, it's going to be a long 6-day wait for the finale. Now, I know, because it was like, if y'all leave us on a bridge, if y'all leave us on a cliffhanger with The Bridge, which is that final episode of the 3, it's like, God damn, now I gotta wait a week for the final episode, which of course is going to be in theaters. And then you just gotta, if you don't want to go, if you can't make it to the theater, if you don't want to go to the theater, you get to see it at home on Netflix. So the highly anticipated series finale of Netflix's mega hit series will simultaneously stream and play in 500 movie theaters across the country, starting on December 31st at 5 p.m. The same time the episode makes its global premiere on Netflix and running through January 1st, 2026. So yeah, I'm not going to be able to have the fortune or the wherewithal to watch the episode because I'll be working the Final Fish concert at the Garden. So, of the year, because they come every year. So, with that being said, I'll just have to wait until the next day and watch it. But I'm just gonna have to avoid all the social media, all the spoilers. Hopefully, there's some people that will have some sins and not spoil anything on some of the, because I always avoid Twitter, because Twitter is inevitable with the spoilers. People are always going to be an asshole on there. So, but if it's like IG or Facebook or all the other situations, I just hope that y'all could at least hold off a good 24 hours before y'all want to put up your spoilers. I would hope. And you always know there's that one that doesn't want to do that. So now they said, but first, Volume 2 releases on Christmas Day. The Duffer Brothers recently spoke with a Hollywood Reporter about how they plan their supersized endgame with these final episodes, saying at the end of the day, what people care about are the characters. Ross and I love monsters and action. You try to do both, said Matt Duffer about balancing the sci-fi of the with the human. Wait, what? Oh, here we go. Y'all with the misspellings. They were basically saying that how to balance the sci-fi with the humanity of the beloved ensemble. So they said the sweet spot for us that I always reference is the Dear Billy episode where you have two things climaxing at the same time. You're having this visual effects spectacle reaching a crescendo at the same time that Max's character is reaching an emotional crescendo. If you can have those two collide simultaneously, that's the ultimate. Well, look, so far y'all been hitting, y'all got it going on a high. Things are going on to a good start. I'm really hoping that you guys hit the mark and don't crash land. Like I want this series to end on a high, like how I was completely satisfied with the entire season of It Welcome to Derry. I want y'all to have one of those moments. I don't want y'all to go out like the first Game of Thrones franchise. Because when that final season came along, it pissed off a lot of people, including myself, the way y'all rushed that season. And there were just decisions that y'all was making on certain kind of. I'm like, what? Huh? Like, no, this is not what y'all built this up to. But who knows? It was probably some behind the scenes stuff going on at HBO. I'm just hoping that the Duffer Brothers are able to land the plane and don't crash it, because you had Sean, that fool over there that would used to be a part of the real world, running the Department of Transportation, because he caused the crashation. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you excited to hear about the length time of these episodes? We're going to be getting a lot of bite-sized, mega-sized episodes. The last three, which I think is good, it's like 3.5 hours. We get to invest in more of the cast. Then we got that big finale coming around on New Year's. So I'm pretty excited. I hope you are as well. But if you are or you're not, let me know your overall thoughts on this in the comments down below. Yes, him. I'm glad somebody got. I was like, I forgot his name. I think it's when I said the Andromeda thing. Yeah, I completely forgot we're still getting new episodes. On Christmas, Kardashian-ized is a mind creature and also a character. That's what I said. It's not Dungeons and Dragons term. I'm sure you know what a. Well, yeah, Howard Stern being one. I would think some people would consider. Is he? Well, he don't sound it. He sound British to me. And I could tell the Australian accent. Like, I remember I had somebody that came to my job the other day, and there was a lady that was talking, and she had a thick accent. I said, "You from Scotland?" She said, "Indeed, sir." I was like, "Okay, well, your cease is down there. You got to start from scratch." I'm like, "For why?" The Magical Mermaids in the building. He said, I remember he said something about, well, he probably, well, that accent don't sound like nothing out of Australia or New Zealand. That accent literally sound like you from the UK. I can usually tell a New Zealand accent or an Australian. Like if you listen to somebody like, oh my God, what's his name? The actor that was Judge Dredd. He's also on. Why am I forgetting names today? Now he from New Zealand. Because I remember when he started out, like I remember his career back when he was on Xena Warrior Princess. He played Dredd, not Sylvester Stallone, because you could barely understand what the hell he's saying, and he American. Um, and even his accent has gotten worse. I was gonna say worser, worse as he's gotten older. It's probably because all that damn filler in his face. Um, yeah, I totally forgot his name, and he's in that the boys. It'll come to me like it always does because I'm having a brain fart today. It's part of this damn Chinese restaurant iced tea. Anyway, all right, let's move from sci-fi and action to some horror news. And let's talk about Kelly Ripa. So apparently, Kelly Ripa, is doing that show with her husband, Mark Consuelos. And so Kelly believes, because she can't seem to get out of her husband, who the killer is or what the plot is of the upcoming Scream movie. Well, apparently she believes that she's married to the killer. She thinks she married a Ghostface. So, oh wait, hold on, because I had this previous. Article open. Now let's get to this topic. So now Mark has apparently put on a solid poker face with his wife Kelly Ripa when it comes to the true identity of Ghostface amid his secretive role in the upcoming Scream 7. The Live with Kelly and Mark co-host role opposite returning stars Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox in the horror sequel is still tightly under wraps, including the Consuelos Ripa household. The Consuelos Ripa household, with Ripa exclusively telling Entertainment Weekly that her 54-year-old husband, why y'all gotta always put people age up and stuff, but whatever, he still look good. 54-year-old husband won't spill anything about the movie despite her repeated attempts. He's the killer, she jokingly speculates during her chat with EW on the New York City set of their daytime talk show. Now, Consuelos admits he's unable to tease much about the film, but says it holds a special place in the heart of his eldest son, Michael, who is a huge fan of the Scream franchise. He said, our son, who's 28 now, this is quite possibly the most impressive job I've ever booked for him. This is what Consuelo said. He said, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. I do have a script that I'm going to bind and leather for him after it comes out, because obviously he'll know if I do that beforehand, and I can't spoil it now. Yeah, I don't know if y'all realize it, but there's some of us out here who don't want to be aware of any spoilers of this movie. Some of us actually want to go in surprised. But I see that there's people on YouTube that want to do their little think pieces every other episode where they want to sit and talk about scream this and scream that and all these plot points and then all these little leaks and all this other stuff. We don't know what the hell this thing is going to be until we actually see it in theaters. I mean, yeah, people could be speculating and things going to come out because of leaked scripts, and I'm sure there's like a dozen of them with different endings and different plot points and twists and stuff, as they always do. And plus, um, I believe that well, I think maybe things are leaking out because apparently there's been test screenings for the film. And when people got big mouths, so things are going to come out regarding that. But as far as the actors go, it's like, I'm not saying a word. So she said he told me nothing, adding that she still tries to get information out of him, saying, I know nothing. He's very, very secretive, but I always joke that he could be the killer. Now, while Consuelos has steadily acted since permanently joining Live in 2023, including roles on TV shows The Girls on the Bus, Go Round and Round. I don't know why. A little bit, and 911. He was on that. Also, he was on Riverdale. Ripa admits there are several reasons why she shied away from returning to performing in a significant capacity. Her last major starring role in a scripted project was the head of the 2003 ABC sitcom Hope and Faith. I totally forgot she did that show. Um, I don't even know. Did anybody really watch that? Wasn't was RFK Jr.'s wife a part of that show too? I'm trying to remember because I can't remember that. I think she was. I may have to check. And so I try not to act so much anymore. It's not that I don't appreciate it. It's not that I don't love it, but I really am devoted to the show and my podcast. I feel like my plate is full. Also, we have 3 adult kids, and I like to be present in their endeavors. And our daughter is now starting to perform in the music scene in London. So I like to be able to be present if she needs or wants me there. When you're an actor, your schedule is not your own. And this is why I always say, like, that's what I love about being a personality and doing like the type of stuff, like she said, doing a show and doing a podcast. Podcast, you can come and go as you please. You're your own boss. Of course, you probably have producers or whatever the case is because of her, someone of her caliber. She's got people that's helping her out with all of that. Me, I'm a one-man band. I'm producing the show. I'm coming up with the topics. I'm doing everything by myself. And not that I'm complaining, it's a lot of work. But hopefully, when I get to a place of like a Kelly Ripa or maybe a Charlemagne who just acquired $200 million, a $200 million deal with iHeartMedia, but I ain't tap dancing for that kind of coin. Sorry. But if I was to ever come into that type of money, trust and believe I will have a band of people that's going to be helping me produce the show and all the other stuff. And I just got to show up and not just get on the mic, but also, I will be very hands on. But still, if it comes down to it and I got my kids got somewhere to be or whatever the case is, or they need me somewhere, trust and believe I'm going to have to just drop everything and go over there and do that. And the good thing about a podcast, you can pick all this stuff up, the laptop, the mic, all of the equipment, and you can pretty much set that up in maybe if you got a hotel room, wherever you could, in your ring lights, you could hook all that up on your lonesome anywhere. That's the great thing about the internet. See, everybody tries to act like social media, internet, it's all bad. There's good things you can find within the confines of that if you use it the right way. There's just y'all only want to focus on the people that abuse the power of the situation rather than doing what needs to be done. So I'm glad that Mark is keeping it a secret. Keep it up. You got like a month left. We gotta keep your mouth closed. It's kind of like when we was about Stranger Things. Noah Schnapp was talking about like, yeah, he had to keep that secret that he developed like these vector type powers for 2 years. Couldn't imagine how that feels. Like, damn, I gotta sit on this secret. Sitting on a secret. Shout out to Alyssa Edwards. I'm sitting on a secret for 2 years, and now it's out. But this is what happens when you're an actor. But the good thing is, being a personality, you don't even have to cuck yourselves to the other stuff. You're not at the mercy of other people or because you number one on the call sheet and all that stuff. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I'm excited for the upcoming Scream movie. I don't even know how big of a role he has in this film because we never see him in the teaser. We didn't see him in the we haven't seen him in the trailer. I'm sure they're going to reveal another trailer the closer we get to the film. But yeah, we didn't see Mark Consuelos. I believe he's playing a reporter. That kind of is going head to head with Gale. But yeah, we don't know how significant his role is, or if he dies. Probably does. But we won't know until we see the movie. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Hold on now. No, not Anthony Starr was the other one. Well, he's I think no, Anthony Starr, I believe, is Australian. Um, oh my god, what the hell's his name? Carl Urban. Now I told you it was gonna come to me. He's also in the new Mortal Kombat movie. He's from New Zealand because I remember when he was on Xena Warrior Princess back in the day. Have you seen Marcus Suelo's steam room scene in Riverdale? But she is married to a fine ass man. You know them Latinos, they age in reverse. Well, the good ones do. Did you see that someone in Trump's administration posted? Oh, please. They tried to do a whole bunch of stuff, but they were exposed that while there were certain things that they were redacting and with the stuff with the files, there was also things they were exposing, including that Jeffrey Epstein had a drawer full of photos of Donald Trump and some files and stuff that was in there. We don't know exactly what they were, but we could speculate. And on top of that, they were pissed off because that wasn't supposed to be something that got out. So while y'all were busy redacting all the other stuff, y'all were just blacking out things, making it look like a damn CIA file. Y'all forgot to redact some of the other stuff. So now you've opened up more questions, and now the administration is looking crazy, and they started removing things. So it's like, yeah, it's just this downward rabbit hole of just more and more guilt. How old is Noah? I want to make a joke. You don't want to sit on that child. Not that Zionist. But Noah Schnapp, I believe, is like 20, 21. Let me look. No, not how old is Trump. We know that motherfucker got 1 foot in the, well, 1.5 foot in the grave. He got about 8 toes in the grave. Um I said 20. He's 21. 21. October 3rd, 2004. Not y'all using his picture when he was Will Byers in the first season. You said another sidebar. The producers of Stranger Things keep trying to push Upside Down. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do love Upside Down though. Upside Down, you turn me. I do love that song. It's not working for the whole Stranger Things promo thing. This is why gays aren't in horror movies because if Marcus Willis was Ghostface. Well, I did see. Speaking of which, I did see a gay horror movie, Queen of the Dead, Queens of the Dead. That movie was funny. No, he's 21. I just checked. I literally just googled it. He was born 2000. Did I say what did I say? 2000, 2005. Yeah. So what was I saying? Oh yeah. So um yeah, I saw Queens of the Dead with that was directed by George Romero's daughter, and who was it? Oh, there was a lot of people up in it. It was actually funny. If you have Shutter, definitely check it out. A lot of gay jokes up in the film, and the way they was acting. So I'm like, are y'all seriously trying to keep like? And remember, like in the old zombie movies or horror movies, um, how they would nail the wood and stuff on the windows and stuff to keep the zombies out or whatever. In this one, they used duct tape, which was hilarious. I was like, what's going on? Nina West is in it. Dominique Tyra Law, as I knew her as Tyra Law. Dominique Jackson's in it. Cheyenne Jackson's in it. It's a bunch of homosexuals is in it. It's a good movie though. Yeah, he's 21. It came out on Friday, by the way. You said, okay, then I'm sure Noah Schnapp is good. Chill. I'm sure he is. All right, y'all. So now, you know, after we get all the good news out of the way for a little bit, now we got to get a little heavy. So about this trick. So Bari Weiss apparently is being dragged on social media because she's cucking to the Trump administration. This DEI hire, as in didn't earn it, not diverse, equity, and inclusion, but she didn't earn this job. So the new editor in chief basically is trying to her damnness to defend the decision to remove a 60-minute story that was going to expose the horrific ways detainees being treated at an El Salvador prison. So what people haven't been paying attention because mainstream media is not going to be talking about it. When they talked about, we're going to be deporting all the illegal alien immigrants, whatever, which is a slur when you call them illegal aliens, whatever. If people who are illegal, yes, we could deport them if you didn't come in the right way. There's not a lot of them. Or they were talking about the criminals or whatever the case is. Not a lot of criminals that are in this country illegally. So once you get rid of those, which probably lasts about maybe a couple of days, of course, you got to keep the momentum going. So now we just grabbing people off the street without due process. You're shipping them off to God knows where. One of the places that they've been shipping people off to happens to be a concentration camp in El Salvador, which we are funding to send them over there, by the way. So they're taking our American dollars while we're putting these people over there. There are people who are being SA'd, being forced to have penises in their mouths. I saw the video, but I saw the interviews and all of the other stuff. This is not, I don't know if this was what 60 Minutes was going to be talking about or exposing, but from the videos and the articles that I've read, I forgot which article it was. It might have been The Guardian or something or other did a full expose on it. Also, shout out to Kyle Kalinske because he's been breaking this story down and talking about it as well. So there's been a lot of people. So yeah, people have been sent over there. I heard they were kneeling to the point of where their knees are bruised. They're being beat. They're being sleep deprived. There was even a point where they would even cut their hands because they thought they were gonna die, and they would literally cut their hands and leave like notes or whatever in blood, written in blood on like sheets or whatever, because they thought like this is going to be the end. I'm not going to make it out of here. Like this is where they're sending me here to die. So this is all the stuff that's been coming out regarding this. But of course, because this is the Trump administration and they don't want all this stuff coming out, he, of course, I'm sure, made a phone call screaming at the Ellisons, who was still, by the way, trying to get their hands on Warner Brothers. Can y'all please let that shit go? You're not getting it. They're still trying to get Warner Brothers from you know, they're still trying to get Warner Brothers from Netflix. Now Daddy Ellison is stepping in trying to get his hands on it. It's like, sir, your business has lost so far over almost $400 billion in 3 months. Your money shit is not even doing all that well. I mean, yeah, he's still got a lot of billions in the bank, but you've been losing money through, via Oracle and stuff. And now you went and spend money in this. Maybe spend time on Paramount and what you doing over there instead of trying to buy up other stuff. But clearly, as I said before, it's always lonely being right. But and I don't mind it being up here by myself when I know what the fuck I'm talking about. They bought Paramount so that way they can get control of liberal media. But the problem is with this. The conservatives or whatever, these people that you're cooking to, y'all already have Fox News, you already have Newsmax. Like, you trying to buy CBS, they're not watching those channels. So you thinking by trying to turn CBS News into MAGA Light, that is going to bring the maggots over there to come and watch these channels? They're not watching that. They already look at that as, we hate the libs, we own the libs, liberal media, we don't have time for it. So you really think that you're going to bring those people from Fox News and Newsmax over there to CBS because you basically have changed the narrative, which is, let's whitewash the genocide that Israel is cooking to, because we got Bari Weiss up in a situation where she's a goddamn shill. She's someone who failed up in life and in her entire career. So what qualifications does Glasses have running a network, let alone a news network? But yeah, they put her fat ass up in there. And I know I'm probably gonna get people in the comments like, stop shaming women. Suck my dick. That's all I gotta say on that. Now, you can clock out, y'all can log off, go to another show, because I say what the fuck I want to say on this channel. If I want to be a misogynistic asshole when it comes to bigoted bitches, I'm going to do it on this channel because I'm paying to do all of this on here. I pay to use the streaming situation to work the way I need it to work. So I'm going to say whatever I'm going to want to say. If y'all don't like it, go to somebody else's channel. Please and thank you. So, with all of that being said, I do want to play the clip. Forgot to do all of that because I went on a rant. So I got the clip from the CBS situation that she had pulled, and then we'll come back and we'll talk. Please.
It began as soon as the planes landed. The deportees thought they were headed from the U.S. back to Venezuela, but instead they were shackled, paraded in front of cameras, and delivered to CCOT, the notorious maximum security prison in El Salvador, where they told 60 Minutes they endured 4 months of hell.
Did you think you were going to die there?
We thought we were already the living dead, honestly.
It began as soon as the planes landed. The deportees thought they were headed from the U.S. back to Venezuela, but instead they were shackled, paraded.
The living dead, honestly.
I just realized it played again. So, okay, I got the point. So now that was a preview of what we were supposed to get regarding that. So, of course, it was pulled because, according to Bari, she said it wasn't ready. Meanwhile, they said they gave them hours to let them know that everything was done, all other stuff. And then this is what she says that was pulled. So, according to the report, because I'm going to just go through it at length, shout out to Variety for this. About 3 hours before airtime, 60 Minutes announced it was postponing a segment from correspondent Sharon Alfonsi, and I do have her response to this after I get through this story, interviewing deportees who the Trump administration sent to the Centro de Confinamiento del Turismo, sorry, CCOT. Child, y'all couldn't have just said CCOT. Prison in El Salvador. A CBS News rep said Sunday that it was halted because we determined it needed additional reporting. Meaning what? So you wanted to show that there was two sides to every story? No. Torture and rape and all these other things, there is no two sides to that. There's no two sides to people who were wrongfully detained, which, by the way, I should point out that the Blowfish, aka Christy Nome, recently said, openly admitted that they out here arresting people and shipping them off without due process. She said, I just saw that recently on Here's Why with Kevin's Instagram page. If y'all want to go over there and check it out, he posts a lot of political stuff over there, the things that nobody else is going to tell you. So shout out to him. So she wanted additional changes to the segment and then spiked the report on Saturday, according to the New York Times. Among Weiss's suggestions were that the piece should include an interview with White House Deputy Chief of Staff, oh, you mean the racist, Stephen Miller, or another top Trump administration. No, why do we have to speak to a bunch of white nationalists and people who hate immigrants? Because Stephen Miller is a Nazi who hates immigrants. So we need to get his report. And first of all, he's not a camera guy. Like, you put him on, he's always got one tone, and that's always loud and just wrong and yelling. He's basically like the white equivalent of Stephen A. Smith. Always loud, always screaming. They only have like one tone of their voice and always wrong. So, according to the Times, she gave Miller's contact info to the 60 Minutes team. Well, they said Weiss, according to the Times, gave Miller's contact info to the 60 Minutes team working on the CCOT segment. Alfonsi said she already requested comment from the Department of Homeland Security, the White House, and the State Department. On an editorial call Monday morning, Weiss explained to CBS News staff why she held the piece. However, it remains unclear why Weiss, who should have been aware of the CCOT segment for weeks, felt an urgent need to pull the 60 Minutes report just a day before it was set to air, after CBS News had already broadly promoted the segment. Probably because after she already got a lashing from Donald Trump for airing that Marjorie Taylor Greene segment, where they were pissed off over that. And wasn't that last week when they did that? So after that, now you doing this piece? That's going to piss them off even more. And now Trump is like, what the fuck? First of all, I jumped through all these hoops or whatever, the Ellisons, to give y'all access and to be able to buy and go through all the red tape or whatever, so that when you could acquire Paramount and this is how you repay me. There's a lot of quid pro quo bullshit that goes on amongst these people, apparently. And it's easy. Like, this is the first person I realized that has been so corrupt that he could easily be bought by anybody who just throws a couple of millions of dollars at him. I mean, he's made it apparent he's not even trying to hide it anymore. They're not even trying to, they're saying the quiet part out loud. So, of course, by putting this shill up in there who's basically just going to propagandize everything that goes on with Israel and what they're doing with Palestine, I already saw that they were talking about something regarding, they already got like, what was it, Jared Kushner already got like blueprints for how they're going to be building resorts and all kinds of other stuff in Gaza. Because after you done flatline the place and kill majority of the people, of course, now we could sit and put casinos and all kinds of other crap up in there. We could just Americanize it, because that'd be a great resortful place to live while you're sitting there smelling all the smog of dead bodies in the air. So how is it that she didn't know? Either, you don't know what you're doing, you're not good at your job, which she's not. She's just there to basically do the bidding of the other people at the top, to kill whatever type of segment there is. And that's great that you could do that. But here's the thing. This is where it comes in, where people that truly respect the integrity of real journalism, and they're threatening to quit, by the way, because of what the shenanigans and the bullshit they doing over here. I don't know if y'all noticed, but this picture of me choosing a hug was intentional. There's always a method to my shady madness. But yeah, so they're threatening to quit. They also said that the story presented very powerful testimony of abuse at CCOP, but the testimony has already been reported on by places like the New York Times, according to a source familiar with the remarks. She also said, well, okay, that's cute or whatever, that the New York Times reported on it. The question remains, not everybody reads the New York Times. Sometimes people do get their information from 60 Minutes. 60 Minutes has always been the place you go for top-notch journalism. I remember when I was a kid growing up, my grandmother stayed watching 60 Minutes. So whenever I was over at the house, growing up, I'd watch 60 Minutes and stuff, because that's what was on. You would learn about what's going on in the world. That was like when real journalism was real journalism. But journalism is dead, apparently, on legacy media. So she said, the only newsroom I'm interested in running is one in which we are able to have contentious disagreements about the thorniest editorial matters with respect, and crucially, where we assume the best intent for our colleagues. Anything else is absolutely unacceptable. She also said to me, our views come first, not a listing schedule of anything else, and that is by okay, girl, like, have a seat. It's like, what the fuck is this dumb bitch talking about? But anyway, regarding of that, now we have the reporter that I was telling you about that decided to clap back at Bari Weiss and her BS. So the correspondent, Sharon Alfonsi, slammed CBS News editor-in-chief Bari Weiss's decision to abruptly pull her report, slated to air yesterday, which of course on migrants deported to El Salvador's infamous CCOP mega prison. Alfonsi trashed the decision as a political one, which amounted to corporate censorship and a scathing internal memo to staff. So, she said that, she spiked the story in a decision she deemed political and not an editorial call. Of course it was. Nothing that these people do has anything to do with like the real integrity or editorial anything. This is about politics. It always has a resort in politics. Politics is now, and then people say, why you gotta bring politics and everything? Because this administration has turned politics into making it a part of pop culture. So the lines are blurred. So this time of way, y'all trying to talk about separate this and that. You can't do that. Not with this administration. So they said in the email, which was also posted in full on Twitter. Hold on, let me pull that up for y'all, so that way y'all could see it. This is what she said. Wait, hold on. No, it's a long read, so I'm gonna just leave it as it is. So what she said in the post, she said, news team, thank you for the new notes and text. I apologize for not reaching out earlier. I learned on Saturday that Bari Weiss spiked our story inside CCOP, which was supposed to air tonight. We, Ori and I, asked for a call to discuss her decision. She did not afford us that courtesy/opportunity. Our story was screened 5 times and cleared by both CBS attorneys and standards and practices, which I'm sure if she knew her fucking job, she would know that whenever you do a big piece where you know who's gonna run in and try to talk about, oh, they're writing this thing. I'm gonna sue CBS. I'm gonna sue CBS for $60 billion. I'm gonna sue CBS. You know how the bullshit, demented stuff that he always says. He always wants to sue people whenever they say something he doesn't like. So, with all that being said, it's like, yeah, we cleared it through the attorneys. You always have to have a legal team when you want. I mean, don't you think when you watch The View, there was some, well, we have to clear things with the legal team, and you don't want to say the wrong thing. So, yeah, when it comes to network television, you have to go through the standards of practice in the channel so that way you don't say the wrong thing. If you knew your job, ma'am, you would be able to know this. But clearly, she's there as, like I said, a DEI hire, or she's just a face. But it's like with anybody in this administration, you're there to be the face, but you don't necessarily have the qualifications or the wherewithal or the experience to handle the job that you've been given. And it's starting to show. And like I said before, she's going to run this into the toilet. It's like between the Marjorie Taylor Greene segment, that little one-on-one interview she had with Erika Kirk, and trust me, we're going to go on that grifting bitch after this story. And now this story, like CBS is failing up like her career has always failed up. So now she's bringing to she's bringing to CBS what she had with her career. Like nothing really worth standing. Like she's going to destroy the legacy of what CBS has spent decades building. But I just don't understand this because this is not a long-term gain type situation. This is like all short-sighted. So anyway, let me get back into the thing. She said, we requested responses to questions and or interviews with DHS, the White House, and the State Department. Government silence is a statement, not a veto. Their refusal to be interviewed is a tactical maneuver designed to kill the story. If the administration's refusal to participate becomes a valid reason to spike a story, we have effectively handed them a kill switch for any reporting they find inconvenient. If the standard for airing a story becomes the government must agree to be interviewed, then the government effectively gains control over the 60 Minutes broadcast. We go from an investigative powerhouse to a stenographer for the state. Absolutely. Because it's like, we can't be going, oh, well, the government has to agree to be interviewed in order for the story to get out. Knowing full and well they're not going to go and give a story. Because how many times have we watched stories where, oh, we reached out to so-and-so, but we didn't hear back from them or they declined to comment. The story still runs. Because as long as you cleared it through standards and practices and the legal department, you can run your story and you already put it out there. We reached out to so-and-so, they didn't get back to us. They left us on read or whatever the case is. So now you want to be like, well, the only way this story runs is that it has to be cleared by the government. What is this, fucking North Korea? Fucking Russia? I'm like, no, this is not how we run things in this country. So they said, these men risk their lives to speak with us. We have a moral and professional obligation to the sources who entrusted us with their stories. Abandoning them now is a betrayal of the most basic tenet of journalism, giving voice to the voiceless. And we already know with the Epstein file, they trying to silence all them voices over there too. So CBS spiked the Jeffrey Wiggins interview due to legal concerns, nearly destroying the credibility of this broadcast. It took years to recover from that low point. By pulling this story to shield an administration, we are repeating that history, but for political optics rather than legal ones. We have been promoting this story on social media for days. Our viewers are expecting it. When it fails to air without a credible explanation, the public will correctly identify this as corporate censorship. We are trading 50 years of gold standard reputation for a single week of political quiet. I care too much about this broadcast to watch it be dismantled without a fight. And that Sharon wrote it. And you know what, sis? I am with you on all of this. One person said, remember when Bari Weiss and tagged her ass in it was all about the Twitter files and the supposed unfashionable censorship of conservative voices by pre-Elon Twitter? Maybe that was complete horseshit performative grifting after all, huh? Well, it's always a performative grift when it comes to these people. They get mad and they want to play victim whenever they're ostracized or cut out of the thing, or when you call them out or hold them accountable, because that's really what that is. It has nothing to do with, oh, they're trying to censor us. No, we're holding you accountable for the bullshit that you out here spewing. So these people did risk their lives, and their story should be told, and shouldn't be coming in that like, okay, well, we don't agree, or the people that I'm with, or I don't agree with the things that you're saying, so I'm going to silence you. This is where we are now. Like, we're literally in a fascist regime, and I think people need to really wake up on this. I tell you, this lady is going to destroy the CBS, what's left of it. I say people need to boycott the channel. Um, don't watch anything on CBS, including Paramount's going to go into the ground. And so far, Paramount has not even proven itself as a worthy successor now that the Ellisons have their hands on it. So I'm out. You're not getting off to a great start. I don't care about any of the movies that's coming out. Now the Ellisons are running it. I haven't heard anything exciting coming from that. The news conglomerate is a mess. And it just seems like it's going to be an uphill battle. I know look, if all the journalists band together, and it's like, you know what? If this is what this company is going to become, then we're all just going to protest and we're going to quit and we're all going to go rogue and do a Substack or go independent and join YouTube or whatever the case is. Then do that. I just hope that, unfortunately, these people's voices won't get to be heard. At least we're aware of it, and the people out here can protest, because I read the comments, the 60 Minutes comments over on Facebook, and people were pissed off. I read a lot of the comments. People were pissed that they weren't going to be able to see the episode, and they went in on Bari. So, Miss Mama, that wasn't a Weiss, Weiss decision on you, because you tried to do Bari this segment, and now it's backfired. So it's not looking good for you, sis. And it's only a matter of time before they end up firing your behind, and I guess they'll replace you with another shill. But you're not good at the job. And then what CBS and them have to realize is that at some point y'all got to stop sucking on Trump's sagging tit and really think about the integrity of the country and stop cucking to some man that y'all afraid is going to go and have one of his little usual Alzheimer's rants because, oh, you hurt my feelings. Fuck your feelings. Feelings are not facts. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I definitely want to hear from y'all. I see a lot of comments that I got to get to. But let me know your overall thoughts in the comments down below. I gotta scroll on up. You said the problem is not new with his first term of immigrant children. Exactly, but it's like now the gloves are off, things have gotten worse, and they're not even trying to hide the things that they're doing anymore. I just saw Clearing the Cornfield on Shutter. Yeah, it was good. We talked about that on the show. We were saying like it was a good movie. I remember Felix said he saw it in the theater. I saw it on Shutter too when it first came out. So I gotta watch that. Also, I saw that they dropped Coyotes, which is this movie with Justin Long on uh Amazon Prime. It's either on Amazon Prime or MGM Plus. It's on one of those because I have both. Perhaps he should just be wait, he should have just tried to buy it. Okay. It's like just buy DC. You said I'm convinced Christian MAGAt conservatives would call ICE on Jesus. Of course he would. And I've said that many a times. You said tangent or rant. Both. Careful with the clip because I saw the Midas said they would not play the preview because they were worried. Oh yeah. Well, it's too late. If I get a flag, I'll just cut it out. It's I watched 2020 also. Oh yes, I love 60 Minutes back in the day. Ed Bradley and Leslie Stahl. You said politics is part of everything. Of course it is, and they've decided to put politics in everything. So it's not something that we could just ignore. Someone will anonymously release the video of how. Look, I need y'all to anonymously release that. Like y'all need to anonymously release them Epstein files without all the damn redactions. That's what needs to happen. But at least people are smart enough to know, except those who are just in the cult. At least people are smart enough to know that they're questioning it still. They're like, oh, they just put a bunch of black marks and they redacted it. It's like you still look guilty. So it's not like you've pretty much skated by. The orange necks are helping. You said I wouldn't be surprised if we get a channel. Yeah, I was gonna say on Lifetime. I was like, what channel? Oh no, they put that on that Candace Cameron Bure Christian Network. Has anybody seen the video of the 30 news anchors all in boxes on one screen and they're all saying the same thing? I haven't seen that. I need to see that. I thought I was going to talk about journalists being unalived, but we don't get to that when we talk about Dave Chappelle. It is. Like you said, yes, freedom of speech is disappearing. Absolutely. But we still out here fighting the good fight to maintain freedom of speech in the right way. Freedom of speech doesn't mean that you just get to say negative things about people. Oh, they're invoking my right of freedom of speech because you can't call somebody a derogatory word. That's not what freedom of speech means. It's freedom of speech is you going against the establishment and fighting a good fight to inform people of the atrocities, not only foreign, but domestic. And you have your own domestic people trying to keep your mouth closed or silence you. So that's what freedom of speech truly means. It's not about, oh, you mad because I can't call a woman or a trans person or a gay person or anybody who is an other a derogatory word, which is what I've been getting from a lot of these, these maggots. I didn't know that was what you was doing. You was about you boycotting Scream 7. I know you was there was a lot of other people talking about boycotting. I didn't know you was. All they were trying to do is instill fear in the people. Us is the mass. Kidding. And they're trying to divide us with hate. Agreed. They are trying to divide us with the hate, and I see through it. How does Rachel Maddow make $25 million a year for one day? That's crazy. She's overpaid. Not damn $25 billion. I don't even know what that means, but in the words of Reagan, your mother sucks cocks in hell. Is Justin Long trying to be the hurricane? I guess so. He said this is becoming close to the final nail in the coffin to make me not resubscribe to Paramount Plus. Despite, yeah, I'm at that point too because I do have Paramount Plus and Drag Races on there, but other than that, they've been pissing me off with a lot of the rhetoric on there. I'm beginning to think Paramount Films will flop and supporting Trump is the blame. Well, if they come out with something remotely interesting, I haven't seen anything interesting come out of the roster of Paramount yet. Oh, the Dave Chappelle one? Child, how you up in here talking about somebody sound fruity or whatever, and your name is Prison Cheeks? Make that make fucking sense. And you said she is a force in the background of the network, more going on than Anchor. Well, from what I was hearing, based off of an article I read from Rob Shooter, he basically stated that Bari Weiss is trying to assert herself more as a in front of the camera personality. Like she's trying to assert herself more on camera. Girl, you don't have the personality for that. I don't know why she's trying to be Miss Personality. I'm like, girl, that was one of the reasons why you didn't get hired at The View. That's why they picked Alyssa Farrah Griffin. I think also what helped with Alyssa was the fact that Alyssa was inside the Trump administration during his first term. So having her there, she could offer some type of perspective. She ain't really offering nothing now, but it seemed like in a way she'd still be trying to hold back on her opinions of Trump. From when the clips I be watching of her when they be talking about some of those segments, but for the most part, it's just like, yeah. Barry tried to get a position over there once Nutmeg McCain left, but she wasn't given. But anyway, let's move on. Where we going? Okay. Let's talk about MAGA Minaj. So I already expect the numbers to go up for me talking about this one. Apparently, MAGA Minaj said, see, look, the conservatives wasn't just using the holy day being Sunday to do foolishness over there at CBS News. They also decided to have MAGA Minaj pop up at this Turning Points event. I'm like, what the hell? Like, these people need to go away. Like, Erika is still on her damn grift. And then Nicki came out on stage and was just spewing a bunch of BS. I just didn't understand what was the point of all of this. But apparently, she sat down for a conversation with Erika Kirk at the Turning Point USA conference in Phoenix. That's your neck of the woods, Robert. Sunday morning, calling conservative activists the cool kids in the midst of extolling her growing admiration for the current administration and her disdain for the usurping of traditional gender roles. So, all of you sissies and punks and trans who've been sitting up here windmilling hard for this wannabe drag queen, now all of a sudden y'all got egg on y'all face. Now all of a sudden y'all done unplugged from the matrix and realize this bitch been a grifter like the rest of them over there at the channel. The rest of like I've been saying this about her for the longest, but now all of a sudden decide to wake up to MAGA Minaj shenanigans because you realizing she a grifter like the rest of them. She been showing, I've been seeing through her ass. In the words of Peaches from a low down dirty shame to Pocahontas, I seen through all that Maybelline. And so now all of a sudden everybody's waking up. Y'all took them rose colored glasses on. But you know, even though you're a little late, welcome to the party. I know them sure there's still some of y'all out here that's still cutting to the bullshit and believe her with the foolishness and still gonna ride until the wheels fall off of that damn truck. And that's a hill you willing to die on. Vaya con Dios, as I like to say. So Minaj further expressed her complete respect and admiration for the handsome, dashing President Trump. Clearly, she's got cataracts issues and need to go to the eye doctor. Elaborated on her recent anti-trans statements, dug deeper, and then y'all tried to say, oh, she wasn't being anti-trans. Blah, blah, blah. She literally was being anti-trans at this event. Dug deeper into her antipathy for trans-supportive California Governor Gavin Newsom, who child, you done worked my root canal nerve first. I'm not voting for you if you try to run for president. So that'll be the one thing I'll be on Nicki on because Gavin is trash. Gavin is a flip-flopper, and Gavin is fake. He out here trying to act like he's amongst the people talking about he grew up playing basketball, palming the ball, and eating what was it, cheese between bread. And I was like, boy, you ain't never struggled like poor folks have. Stop with the foolishness. It's like you out here giving performance art like Timothee Chalamet with this new movie he got. Marty Supreme. This is not the way to cut to get the black vote. Just be yourself. But he don't know how to do that. And then when they drag him over his lies, then they're going to come and try to flip-flop and change up again. So then, suggested that white women have been the victims of reverse discrimination as the beauty of black women have been elevated. This old simple-ass bitch had the nerve to fix her mouth to say this foolishness. And trust me, I got the opinions of some of the celebrities because Lonnie Love jumped in the comments and had something to say about her too. And T.S. Madison, who people was getting on TS because she been quiet about this whole situation. I'm like, wait, that's your girl. She's saying stuff about the trans people. Why are you so quiet? Oh, she piped up. She finally had something to say. But it ain't about what you think. So we'll get to that. So now picking up the ball amid the confusion about the remark, Kirk said, trust me, there's nothing new under the sun. Oh, yeah, because she had to get the gaffe where she basically called J.D. Vance an assassin. Now, here's the thing. She had a gaffe with that, but I truly think what she meant was assassin as in like you out here killing it, knocking down your opponents, whatever. It's hip-hop slang. But the fact of the matter was, you're in a room with a bunch of palm people. You're in a room with them, so they're not going to get the terminologies. And they're so happy that they have any kind of celebrity that they can use in the situation, they're going to go along with it. And did y'all notice, besides the fact that Ben Shapiro's voice is like nails on a chalkboard, and like, I don't know how anybody, including his wife, can get wet listening to that voice. But then again, we've heard the stories that he admit that his wife be dry between me down there. So I could definitely understand why that nasally, whiny ass voice. Who can get hard at that? Let alone moist. But with that, she did. Did you notice that she was taking her time with the way that she talks? It's like when you do that, that's because you're grifting, you're following a specific script, and you got to make sure you don't fuck up the lie. Because remember, there was a point where Mark Zuckerberg decided there was like some type of number situation they would come up with that he was saying he was going to invest in something that Trump was doing. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then he threw out a number, which wasn't the right number. And then I think it might have been the right number. But anyway, so once the thing was over, where they had a little meeting or whatever, people were around, the mic was still on. And on the mic, he was like, oh, did I do it right? Did I say the right thing? So this is all what this is. This is a grift. She's in on it. There's some type of ulterior motive that she's got going on. I don't know if she's trying to get a pardon for her husband and her fat ass brother. I don't know if she's trying to get U.S. citizenship because she did admit she is not that she's an immigrant, that she is not an American citizen living in this country, from Trinidad. So I don't know what the ulterior motive is here. What, in the words of Cardi B, what is the reason? So picking up the ball amid the confusion about the remark, she was like, "Oh, there's nothing new under the sun that I've not heard. You're fine." Oh yeah, just like the gaffe you made earlier when you would have that man up there, or that kid or whatever. I don't remember they all look inbred to me. So the kid got up there or whatever, and she said something about passing on the torch of her husband's grift, or then she meant grit. I said, "Oh no, you was right the first time. It's definitely a grift, and it's all a grift. And the fact of the matter is that these people are not willing to see it. Either y'all choose to be obtuse in this situation, or y'all just don't care how you get the power as long as you get to keep it and maintain it, or you get it and you get to maintain the power." So of course, she has received backlash, about her right-leaning views. Who has devoted? They said that Minaj, who has devoted her recent social media to being combative on these issues, drew cheers as she claimed, "I didn't notice. We don't even think about them. We're the cool kids. The other people, they're the ones who are disgruntled, but really they're just disgruntled with themselves." Oh, really? Because when people say so about you, particularly when it comes to your record sales, or you got Cardi B out here trying to bait you, and your ass took bait, where you went on a whole week rant. Booger Sugar, maybe, I don't know. But you went on a whole rant talking about Cardi B and her children, calling them all kinds of gorillas and monkeys. You diss Megan Thee Stallion. There was a recent thing that people think that Doja Cat, in her recent performance, where she had Booger Sugar on her nose, they thought, in the pink wig, they thought that they was probably talking about Nicki. I think, my shady ass, I hope she was. But there were some people saying, "Oh, there was the 80s. Of course, they was prominent." I'm like, this is 2025. People are still shoving powder up their nose. Like, this is not something that was just only in the 80s. People still doing that shit today. Coke ain't go out of style. I mean, now they pumping it with Fenty, but and all kinds of other stuff. But overall, it's the Booger Sugar is still a popular drug. Ask Trump's son. Allegedly. So, um, I'm not surprised by this grift. I'm surprised at how deep she's going with it. But it was only a matter of time before she was going to go this way. And a lot of times, a lot of these celebrities or whatever, they go full MAGA. I don't want to go into this whole thing because she said a whole bunch of dumb shit, especially talking about what was okay. Let's get to the trans stuff. Minaj indicated that even beyond her beliefs about trans youth, she feels boys are discouraged from being masculine. Boys be boys. She said, well, she can't probably say that about Papa Bear, but let's get into it. So, boys be boys. It's okay, be boys. There's nothing wrong with being a boy. How powerful is that? How profound is that? Boys will be boys, and there's nothing wrong with that. Amen. Well, here's the thing. What does that even mean? Boys will be boys. I need you to elaborate. I need more descriptiveness of what is the definition of a boy? That boys are disrespectful. That boys go around assaulting women without their permission. Like, I need to know what the real definition of a boy is, or man, or whatever the case is, because it's like y'all can't just go boys will be boys and leave it like that. It's like, I don't know. Call me crazy, but I like deep. If you're gonna try to be deep, let's get into the shits. You can't just be out here saying stuff and then just leave it at that and be like, okay, well, boys will be boys. Okay, what is that? A slogan you can put on a goddamn t-shirt? Like, we need a little more descriptiveness of that. So, not everybody, and just because you got a dingling between your legs and you have the exterior of a boy, that don't make you a boy. That don't make you a man. That comes with being honest, respectful, having integrity. Those are things that make you a boy and eventually a man. If you have values and morals and you have respect for those around you, that to me is like what makes a man. Someone who's comfortable with who they are and doesn't care about what other people think. Not, oh yeah, I gotta show you that. Like, I gotta act like who's the two that got their ass beat? Jake Paul, who just literally got his jaw rearranged, and then you got the other one. So y'all think that's what a man is? That's the definition of one, because they got their necks rocked, or their jaws rocked, I should say, and their neck went that way too, along with the jaw. They got their face rocked over the weekend. Andrew Tate got a big old uppercut, probably seen more than stars. And Jake Paul got his ass beat, and now he's trying to rearrange the whole situation, trying to switch it up and market the whole thing. Oh yeah, I'ma still fight. He got another fight coming up. I'm like, sir, you ain't gonna have a mouth. You keep that. Like you got to let that heal first. Let them steel plates they put in your jaw do what it need to do, and that's what it was. He was out here playing up this situation with these little rigged fights where yes, the undercards and them they was getting they big ones or whatever the case was. They was getting their money and that's cool or whatever. But you was getting these little easy fights where you wasn't getting your face right. But then I guess the ego got to you. Maybe you need to go join your brother Logan over there on the wrestling because all that is fake. All that is set up. You probably have a better chance of doing the wrestling because, yeah, y'all do crazy stunts or whatever, but you're not going to get as hurt as you did in that boxing ring and you met your match. So if you're thinking that's what the definition of a man is, then sis, you don't know a whole lot about men. But then again, when you got somebody who's come up in the trenches of like how she did, her brother, her husband, and all the other things that she's been surrounding herself working with Tekashi 6ix9ine and all these other problematic ass men, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not surprised that she don't know what a real man is or what a real man entails or what a real man looked like if he took his dick out and slapped upside the face with it with all that fucking makeup she got on. So she also indicated that even beyond her beliefs about trans youth, she feels boys are discouraged from being masculine. On the subject of girls and young women, she said recently in the media, it's almost been like a push to not just make young Black children feel proud of themselves, but it's almost like doing that and at the same time telling other children not to be proud of themselves. First of all, I'm not even going to finish reading what she got. If y'all want to see the clips, y'all can go on Twitter. Y'all can do whatever y'all need to do. She made absolutely no sense with half the shit she was saying up in the situation. But I will point this out. So Lonnie Love, and they done screenshotted it. Oh wait, one person put Nicki Minaj an immigrant at a MAGA meeting with Erika Kirk saying be boys. Boys should be boys, and there's nothing wrong with that. Then we had Lonnie Love went and posted on the neighborhood talk, which hold on, I'll pull that up for y'all. I wish there was a way with them that they could put we could see the like read the full comments, but they don't have the scrolling thing and it's annoying. So yeah, she said, I remember her and her followers attacking me and other Black women. Now I get why. And I'm gonna play y'all the clip of what she said. Hold on.
I have the utmost respect and admiration for our president. He has, I don't know if he even knows this, but he's given so many people hope that there's a chance to beat the bad guys. I have the utmost respect.
Why is she talking like that? It reminds me of Billy Porter in the episode of Pose. Have some respect. Like enunciating every freaking syllable of the word. It's like, girl, really? You went to the High School of Performing Arts, LaGuardia. This is the best you can get with your acting performance? No wonder you didn't make it as an actress. You're not good at it. So yeah, there were some people in the comments. One person said, Lonnie, you spoke on Nicki first, though. So, okay, so now we got a dumb bitch in the comments who's moving the goalposts because it satisfied her, I guess, agenda, because she a fan, right? The coonery is coonering. So then we got another person said, I've never been a Nicki fan. She been a clown. Another person said, Nicki must need something from Donald. Obviously, because, you know, the grift be grifting. Why else would she be out here pulling these little stunts? Obviously, she needs something. But that ain't the only thing. So yeah, Lonnie Love was like, oh, so her followers was attacking her and other Black women. But you sit up here and talk about that. People need to be Wait, hold on. Let me see if there's the other clip. Okay, so I can't drag her by myself, that's for sure. And so I want somebody to drag Lonnie Love ass too, but hey, that's just me. So yeah, she's in the comments.
So with regard to the current administration, what has been maybe the biggest surprise for you or something that you just really has been put on your heart that you've learned about our president and our vice president?
Well, I have the utmost respect and admiration.
Okay, that's pretty much repeating the same clip. It's just something else. Okay, we can move on from that. Because she sounded damn fool. I don't even think she reads. She don't do research. She just want to get on camera. They paid her money. And, you know, bills is due. I don't even think she paid that guy who her husband broke his jaw, the security guard, still trying to get his money. So, but then T.S. Madison finally broke her silence on the situation. Shout out to the Neighborhood 12 for this. And they said that she spoke on Nicki's recent statements about Christians. So you can speak on Christians, but you can't speak on the trans, which normally she does. And I don't know. I know she did a fact talk the other day without Craig. So I don't know if she mentioned it in the episode, but all I know is from this. So she went and said, being a Christian and white Christian nationalists are two different things. To be Christian is to be Christ-like. White Christian nationalists have nothing to do with Christ and everything to do with control. I'm sorry, Nicki, but this cannot be what they got you believing. These people are not Christ. Even if you don't agree with trans kids, what about black people and immigrants? They would deport Jesus if he were here. Sister, this is not the way. Didn't we say that earlier during the show? Somebody literally in the comments, I can't remember who's. I apologize. You know, there's a lot of people that jump in the comments, so I can't remember everything. But somebody literally said, if it was up to MAGA, they would deport Jesus. And trust and believe, if he came down with a whole new face and a new do, and y'all didn't recognize him from jump, from the way they decided to draw him in the Bible, trust and believe y'all would have that man deported. And I truly believe it, because these people are not really Christ-like. This is a cult. So yeah, let me put my favorite picture of her back up as I get into my overall thoughts on this situation. Oh yeah, there was another post I came across. One person put, of course, Nicki Minaj went full MAGA grifter. MAGA is basically a gated retirement community for problematic celebrities who are tired of being held accountable. And I truly believe that is nail hit directly on head. I truly believe that is why a lot of these people do what they do, and they're grifting. They're a gated retirement community for problematic celebrities. And if you don't want to be held accountable for shit, you become MAGA. So, as I said before, like, to quote Nicki's bestie, Cardi B, I just want to know, what is the reason for all of this? Like, what kind of grift is Nicki trying to pull here? Like, aligning yourself with an administration that protects white-collar criminals and SAers are, it's literally at this point, I feel like, become your MO, especially when it comes to her husband and her brother. Now, are you rubbing elbows with these white nationalist regime folks in hopes that they will pardon your husband and your brother? Are you doing this knowing that you're an immigrant and aligning yourself with this administration will grant you American citizenship? Because if you weren't Onika Mirage, and who became Trashy Garbage and now MAGA Minaj, Chrissy knows people would have her fix a flat ass sent to some gulag in El Salvador if she wasn't who she was. Now, Nicki aligning herself with a party that is finally exposing her as the grifter that she's always been, rocking the crazy Gaga-esque costumes and wigs, and pretending to be bisexual in order to court a queer audience. Now she throwing trans people under the bus in order to drag Gavin Newsom and shading the gays while misinforming her barbs about Christians in Nigeria being under attack. So where was that genuine concern for the Trinidadian people who were bombed by the Trump administration on a fishing boat not too long ago? These are your people, sis, but you real quiet about that. And like I brought up earlier, that little palm person that you were sitting across from, that old grifting heifer, the real assassin, her husband said some not so flattering things about you, saying you're not a good role model for young girls. He said this when he had breath in his body. But you okay with all of this now, right? So MAGA has shown time and time again that they aren't a loyal bunch, especially when it comes to women. So if people like Erika, if people like Nicki Minaj think they can keep this grip going for a long period of time, I got two words for you: Sydney Sweeney. So people, please stop putting so much faith and admiration into these celebrities, because at the end of the day, these people will leave you high and dry and disappointed. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding MAGA Minaj finally going full MAGA and showing her true damn colors? Because I feel like after all of this, like, where else is there to go? You can't be like, oops, my bad. This was some type of documentary, like parody type thing. There's some SNL skit. I was just joking. Like, just jokes. My bad. Like, no, there's no coming back from that. Your career about to be matching Azealia Banks's. But then again, when it comes down to her cooking herself to the Kirks or whatever, and she even said she's going to write a song about Charlie Kirk. just looking forward to March getting here and see how them record sales do. Because if she really thinks that she's still gonna be able to sell records and still have that A-list success while pulling all of these stunts, I don't know. There's no hope for her, but she been washed. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, let me close these windows. Let's see what the people are saying. Oh yeah, I think I read that one. You said, well, Bill Clinton said release the file. Okay, and they released it. And if, like I said, and I don't know why people think that, oh, if you mention Democrats or whatever, that we gonna feel away. Y'all got us confused with the people in the cult. Oh well, the other people is in it. Okay, well if they in it, release it. And if they are in it and they did something inconceivable, they need to be held accountable. I don't give a fuck what your political party is. Abuse is abuse, and wrong is wrong, and right is right. I don't care what side you're on. I'm not going to sit up here and be all moving the goalposts because somebody that I didn't say admire, because I don't admire presidents. They have a job to do. But if somebody that I voted for once upon a time was in something and he did something that was disappointing, he need to be held accountable. They said, that's crazy. Speak up, T.S. Madison. She was supposedly tight with Nick. Uh-huh. Yeah, because at one point when she was doing the Queen's Court, I don't know if it was the Queen's Court or the Queen's Supreme Court, and she was doing it with Kaya, Nicki Minaj was trying to sign them to a deal where they could bring that show from Facebook, because I think they were on a bunch of social media conglomerates at the time. I think they were also on YouTube, but they were also on Facebook, and she was going to sign them to a deal to get it on a network, and Kaya was being Kaya, but a self-saboteur, and that whole situation didn't work out. But her and Nicki, I guess, still maintain a friendship, and so that's where that whole situation stemmed from, and that's why people was getting mad. That was like, oh well, Maddie, you need to speak on it. You need to talk about it. We even mentioned that in the show. I mentioned it in passing. I'm like, I wonder if T.S. Madison going to say something. She said something. I mean, she was trans in passing, but I think that she decided to heavily focus on the other stuff, the religious aspect, or being a Christian and all that other stuff. Yeah, Now I see that trend is getting everybody's saying MAGA Minaj. No, I was saying it before everybody else, but everybody was saying MAGA Minaj. Because and Heidi has an axe to grind, and rightfully so, because she was nasty to Heidi on her season. I hate your makeup. Girl, your face wasn't all that. You had a lot of makeup on you. You was a little caked yourself in that episode. So blame your makeup artist, but you had the nerve to try to read somebody else. Well, as everybody has said many a times on this show, YouTube is being, a little funny about certain things that y'all can post on here. I know Adante said we have to let go of Palestine. Gen Z said it's not a litmus test. It's actually all we ask for. We got to let go of Palestine. And people passionate about the people being eviscerated, like a whole, national group of people are being killed because there's another group that wants to steal their land for colonization purpose. Like, no, we got to let go of it. Please. Like I said yesterday, well, when we get to that story, we'll talk about it. I see a lot of OF creators are major. Hmm. And look, I already saw like a lot of the drag queens were jumping on social media, and a lot of people in nightlife talking, y'all better start omitting that music from y'all playlist. And even Roxy Andrews came out and said, like, there's so many other artists y'all could be out here doing music too. I don't care how good the music sound. You're not going to use our community and talk shit about us, and you still want to lip sync to those songs at the club for a couple of dollars. It's not worth it. There's a rumor that her or her man does not have legal citizen status, and Oh, her man, trust to believe, has legal status. He's American. I already told y'all that story about Kevin Petty. How I know. Or Kenneth Petty. So he has legal status. She does not. He said, yet the black and gay community are still behind her after what she said. Of course, unfortunately, sometimes the my own community, y'all y'all disappoint me at times. Griff spoke the truth. She said grift. Oh, I had to be, look, her last name Petty. I could be petty too. A huge percentage of her fan base that made her rich and famous and now angry, unfollowing, deleting her music, left in limbo. She basically put the final nail. And funny enough, I kid you not, I had a friend of mine who I spoke to earlier told me that he's like, oh, I went through my phone and I deleted all of her music. He said he added TLC. It's like, why you talking about you added? He said because he had just saw the what was it, the biopic or the documentary, something or another they did, and it's on Netflix. I guess they finally added it. It was like, oh, I just added TLC and they plays. I'm like, you's a fool. But funny enough, I was like, I said, and funny enough, I did the same thing. Like I literally went to my phone. I was like, let me check for some reason, because when I was in the middle of doing the story, I was like, let me check and see if I actually have any Nicki Minaj music saved in my Apple Music. And luckily enough, I was like, oh, good. I didn't have it was all plus signs. All plus, what means you didn't add it to the thing yet. If you see the download thing and like it adds, y'all know the Apple Music thing. So I'm checking. And I'm like, oh yeah. So I didn't have any of her music added. Because I'm like, yeah, I've never really been like a Nicki fan. There's been songs of hers that I like. That, but I've never been like a fan where it's like, oh, I love all the antics, I love the costumes, I love I love the drama, I love the music. Like I've never been a fan like that. But she's had a couple of bops that I thought was cute. After seeing the video of Charlie Kirk slamming Nicki Minaj, it wouldn't shock me if they made a deal with her to not deport her. For they need a token face of please. And it's like, not only her, but whatever happened to Amber Rose? She's been awfully quiet. Hmm. My theory is that she's trying to get a pardon. That's why I said a lot of people either think she's trying to get a pardon from her brother. You my shut up fool. No. You can suck my dick from the back, and your mother should have swallowed. And I'm saying that before I block your ass. So that when you hear what the fuck I'm saying, trash box. Now you're blocked. It's my go MAGA without even having a face. Like, let me know what you look like so I could have read your appearance. I love to read. Okay, Black Stepford Wives, they got her. I'm so used to the trolls coming up in here. I just said, girl, shut up. He is. Look, y'all can get up in the comments. I need y'all to be acting like these barbs. When they come up in here with the shade, read their ass in the comments so that way then I can block their ass. Because by the time I get to their thing, they probably just wrote what they wrote and left. Even if Jesus came down as a white dude this time, according to them, they think he's white. They run around here with this narrative that Jesus was a white man. Mind you, he's not. Like dark skin, hair made of wool. I don't know any white people that look like that, but okay. Y'all want to move the goalposts and change the narrative of what Jesus really looked like? Be my guest. If her fans still, whatever helps y'all sleep at night. There are people still out here defending her. Because like I said, when I posted that thing about Lonnie Love, somebody in the comment, well, you made a comment about her first. Really? This is what we doing? Like, what are we, 5? You said something about her first. What are you talking about, dummy? Like, I can't stand stupid people. She definitely giving me not the Us movie. She talking like Lupita Nyong'o? Nicki Minaj has been pushing fascist Trump. Please impeach the nightmare that is Donald Trump and his corrupt regime. He is tearing down the White House. Ablaze. And I truly believe like what that theory was, where they said that he's money laundering through the White House, particularly the East Wing, which he destroyed. He said it was going to be 100 million. It ballooned to 400. So what are you doing? How did go from 100 million to now $400 million? And you ain't even paying the people for the construction. PED Friday. That's what's gonna be the name of the album, because she can't come up with nothing else outside of calling some shit Pink Friday. MAGA's thinking people will come to Bill Clinton's defense. Like, yeah, absolutely. It's like, we are not you. We're not like y'all. Y'all are not like us. Those of us with sense, common sense, and actual morals and decency. Y'all think, oh, if you mention Bill Clinton was in the Epstein files, it's going to be an uproar from the Democrats. Who fucking told y'all that? Y'all need to stop watching Fox News. Seriously, because no, we don't think that way. We actually are all for people holding people accountable for their shit, regardless of the party. So you got us confused with how y'all minds work. You said you finally joined Apple Music last week, but you can't block an entire. Yeah, you can't. Oh, I didn't know you could block an entire artist discography on Spotify. I didn't know y'all could do that. Well, I didn't even read that second comment, but once I blocked them the first time, all the stuff that they say disappears. He said, "We are not like y'all. You're not like us." Okay. He said, "This is coming from someone who used to run a Stan account for her." I remember you telling me that the moment she takes a picture with Trump is over. Her music has been ruined for me since losing her. And I don't understand, what is the point of all of this, and is it worth it? Is it worth it? Let me work it. It's like, what is it? I'm like, what's the end game of all this? There's got to be an end game. There's always got to be uh what do you call it? Like, what's the end goal? What's the point of all of this? I just need to know. Like, you can't just be on the fly. Oh, I'm just gonna do this out of impulse. Or maybe that is what she's doing. Because some people are like that. Some people who lack impulse control, that's what they do. They'll jump on something because it's the endorphins or whatever the case is. And I'm thinking about the long-term consequences of their actions. And maybe that she didn't think all of that through. But if that's not what you're willing to do, then okay, well, sis, I hope you know that this grift, this decision that you're making, if it affects you in the long run, that's on you. But anyway, let's move on from this trash box. And let's talk about Dave Chappelle. So apparently Dave Chappelle released another Netflix special and decided to drag one of the most smuggish ass wipes in all of comedy, Bill Maher, who I will admit, once upon a time, I actually did like Bill Maher back when he did Politically Incorrect. I used to watch that show, and then he wound up getting fired because I forgot what he had said or whatever. But yeah, he always seemed very progressive in a lot of his political views and stuff. So what happened? Maybe they paying good money over there at HBO. Now he's like being a shill for Israeli propaganda. He's like been kind of falling in the same sandbox as Stephen A. Smith, just loud and wrong and smug. And then he has that look of oh my God, what's his name? Scott Jennings. I can't stand him, the one that be on CNN. He always has a little smug look, like just do one of these chops to the throat. Every time I see him, I feel like I just want to do that to him. But or dive through the TV and do it, because I ain't seen him in person. But so Dave Chappelle went in on Bill Maher in his special, and I had a cackle when I saw this, and even went and dragged him because they was going in on him about performing for Saudi Arabia, and decided to do a checkmate in the meantime with these hypocrites over there in Israel. So I do have the clip. We gonna play the clip. Hopefully we don't get, in trouble for playing it. But it was over on the Twitter. So we'll come back and talk. So yeah, I'm gonna just leave it there because he's absolutely right. It's like, oh, so we just gonna compare apples to oranges and that sort of thing. So yeah, I perform for a bunch of people. Of course, you're gonna spread this narrative about Saudi Arabia and things they're doing. And trust and believe, they're not innocent out there, but neither is Israel. So we're gonna sit up in here and y'all want to sit and compare apples to apples, then let's do that. There's been less people who were journalists that were killed over in Saudi Arabia than there was in Israel. But that's not the conversation y'all ready to have in regards to that. So Maher was largely positive about the Riot Festival, calling the participating comedians brave for breaking ground in a nation that hasn't always been welcoming for stand-up. However, Maher did take issue with Chappelle saying it's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia than it is in America. He said, it's not true. This is what Maher said of Chappelle's comment during an episode of Real Time. Do your hunk on Muhammad, Dave. Now, in the special, which premiered on December 19th, Chappelle addressed the controversial claim. So he said, I didn't tell him to put this in the paper. I just said it on stage. It's easier to talk in Saudi Arabia for me than it is in America. He said, oh, I stand 10 toes on that. Don't get what I just went through. 2 years ago, I almost got canceled right here in the United States for transgender jokes. But I got to tell you something, transgender jokes went over very well in Saudi Arabia. So, um, of course that he would say something or another in regards to that. But it's like, look, I guess what it is in the United States, they don't want you saying anything that's going to be, you know, disrespectful to certain demographics. But my thing is this, let comedians say whatever the hell they want to say. If you're going to tell a joke, and I love an offensive joke. I like when they come out with offensive jokes on black people, gays, whatever the case is. I always feel like everybody is fair game. However, when that's what you're doing or whatever the case is, then I guess it's a problem for some people. But my thing is, if you don't like that particular comedian for saying what he's saying and he's getting to say what he wants to say, because look, when we were all growing up, from Eddie Murphy on down, we've all heard comedians say some of the most inoffensive, like extremely offensive jokes about certain demographics, and we all laugh and we kiki on it. But I guess now because of social media, people feel a way about some of the things that they're saying. Let Dave Chappelle say what the hell he want to say. I personally don't sit and watch a lot of his comedy or whatever the case is. I watch little clips and stuff here and there. But if it's not my cup of tea, I don't watch it. And I feel like that's what we should all kind of abide by. Now, I do feel like we need to have a balance. So you can't only just allow the Dave Chappelles of the world to be able to say, oh, they transphobic, homophobic, or whatever. Well, he mostly focuses on transphobic jokes or some what people would deem as transphobic. But I feel it needs to be a balance because I wouldn't want somebody, if I'm like a comedian or whatever, and you know, I say funny, offensive shit on this show all the time, and I'm not even a stand-up comedian. It's just whatever comes out the brain comes out the mouth. Comes in the brain, comes out the mouth. And I wouldn't want somebody to censor me because I'm saying some stuff where it's like I'm spitting hard facts and truths about shit, but yeah, I'm saying it in a way where it's just like unapologetic, unfiltered, and that sort of thing. So I wouldn't want somebody to come and be like, "Oh, I'm going to cancel you because you're saying something that I deem offensive." If it is in a place of like understanding and I can't say respect because there's no respect really. Excuse me, in an offensive joke, it's offensive for a reason. But I guess it's because Bill Maher has an axe to grind. He is Jewish. So anything where you could promote anti-Muslim rhetoric, he's going to do that because he has a job to do. He has, he's got an image to uphold. And so, like I said, once upon a time, I used to love Bill Maher and a lot of his other stuff. Then I started seeing like the grift and everything he's been doing, the flip-flopping back and forth where he's so happy because, oh, I got to go hang out with Trump at the White House. And I think that's probably why people like Trump because even though he's not accessible to the public, he's in a way made himself accessible to the public. Whereas previous presidents, it was sort of like a high regard that we had for the presidency, where you looked at them a certain way and you can't even get a hold or control or have a piece of that. It's like we can, because remember, like back when Bill Clinton became the big thing, it was like, oh, we want a president, or even George W. Bush. Like we want to be able to have a beer with the president. No, I don't want to have a fucking beer with him. I'll have a beer with my friends. I just need politicians to pass policies that align with, the things that I want. Good health care, health care for all, meaning that it's not going to break the bank of me going to go to the doctor and I don't have to die and forego stuff because my premiums have skyrocketed, and affordable housing and all that other stuff. Like if you can't, and a better living wage where people's wages should go up instead of the bills and stuff that they're paying, but the wages remains the same. So as I said, I don't particularly care for Bill Maher. Dave Chappelle should, if you like him, you like him. You don't, you don't. But look, he wasn't the only one that went there. Kevin Hart performed there, Pete Davidson, Bill Burr, Louis C.K., Whitney Cummings. Well, here's the thing. A couple of these people on here are problematic. Louis C.K. has pretty much been blackballed for the industry because he was inappropriate with a couple of women or something or another. And so he need to go to Riyadh to get that coin. Kevin Hart, I mean, I don't know anybody that find him funny. Pete Davidson does what he does. Bill Burr, I remember he got dragged and he was trying to wiggle his way out of that. And he was still getting dragged over it. Whitney Cummings ain't told a funny joke in decades. And Aziz Ansari, I remember he got caught up in some stuff too. And he recently did that movie, the Angel movie with Keanu Reeves and Keke Palmer that I want to see. Good Fortune. That looked pretty funny. I definitely want to check that out. Even though Aziz did go through a little situation at one point. Now, Maher was not the only comedian to come after Riot. Jimmy Kimmel, David Cross, Mark Maron, and Shane Gillis. Oh, yeah, I remember because Mark Maron did a whole thing on his podcast, and I think that's when Bill Burr got tight and was trying to finagle his way out of the situation where, yeah, people was dragging him still, but like, oh, no, you just digging the hole deeper. So yeah, they spoke very favorably about Riot in the wake of the backlash. Burr called the event one of the top 3 experiences I've had. So look, unless we've been able to travel our butts over to Saudi Arabia, who know what it's like? I know some people say all money ain't good money. Y'all were just mad at Cardi B for performing in Saudi Arabia. Jennifer Lopez don't never turn down a check performing at Saudi Arabia, and so did Beyonce. And it don't seem like y'all mad at them. Y'all ain't mad at Beyonce performing in Saudi Arabia. Y'all not mad at Cardi B. I mean, I did see some people did have a little bit of a backlash towards it, but it seemed like y'all was dragging her for her clothes more than her performing there. And it's like, the women have to be covered up. You can't have your titties out and all that other stuff. You have to be covered up if you're in Saudi Arabia. That's just the custom. So anyway, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding what he had to say? Look, for me, all money ain't good money. I don't know if I could actually perform in Saudi Arabia, especially since, whatever their laws or beliefs are, particularly against women in the LGBTQIA plus community, I couldn't do it. But people gonna do what they're gonna do regardless, whether you like it or not. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. You see the recent story about Lisa Marie supplying. Mhm. It wasn't only just Lisa Marie. I believe it was also her daughter, Riley Keough. She is the biological mother of John's youngest child. I did see that story. I thought about talking about, maybe I'll bring it up tomorrow. And there's a whole lawsuit going on around it. So yeah, I totally forgot about that. Was one of the topics that I did last week. I'll do that. I'll remember to do that one tomorrow. But yeah, there was a whole situation going on around it. I was like, wait a minute, Scientology believes in, I mean, I understand y'all believe in science and all these other things, and y'all don't believe in therapy unless it's the type of therapy that y'all indoctrinate. That's a part of the Scientology. But I'm like, y'all are okay with taking somebody else's eggs and using it because you got infertility issues? That was news to me. But apparently they do. American dollars help destroy. Okay, exactly. And that's why I said that when it comes down to it, we're not complicit in this. We've always kind of been, the more that you peel the onion, you start to realize that we have been at the forefront of asserting ourselves, our nose in everybody's business. Why don't we always focus on what's going on our domestic shores instead of asserting ourselves into other things, starting wars with Venezuela and starting all these, and then trying to map the whole Christian thing in Nigeria when it's all about their minerals and all that other stuff. It's all rooted in colonization disguised as something else. But you start mentioning certain things like Sky Daddy's a God and Jesus, then everybody all of a sudden mind turns to mashed potatoes, and the actual act of critical thinking goes down the toilet. But anyway, let's move on. And speaking of Beyonce, let's talk about Queen Bey. So, she's a little late with this tea, but apparently she decided to speak out and do, like, I guess she did one interview or something or another. And she's actually speaking out on everything that was surrounding the whole Cowboy Carter tour. So let's get into that story. Shout out to the Daily Mail for this. So, in her only interview about the tour, published in Polestar's year-end issue, the global superstar, who's 44, pulled back the curtain on overcoming weeks of sluggish ticket sales and early technical difficulties. I can't believe she actually was willing to speak on them ticket sales. Because remember, at one point, the ticket sales was looking a little sluggish. She couldn't sell them out, but they probably did what they always do with these tours. Y'all will drop that price down to like $30 to get butts in them seats. She said, this was born from my love and respect for the rich country genre. Beyonce explained the overall intention for this tour was to celebrate American resiliency. The mother of three went on to reflect on how the tour was deeply rooted in her Texas upbringing and her long-standing mission to preserve the overlooked history of Black cowboys, saying, "We showcase many aspects of my upbringing in Texas, like the salon in honor of my mother's hair salon I grew up in, and the saloon honoring my great-grandfather who sold moonshine in Alabama. I was inspired by the Texas Lone Star and the art town of Marfa, a fusion of futurism from Renaissance with the gold maximalism of Cowboy Carter." Beyonce also noted that she believes the stage is a piece of art and its own icon. Well, I do agree with that, where it's like the stage is a piece of art, because I always feel like even with the music, the visuals of the tour has to go hand in hand. So you want all of those things to be brought up in this situation. So she described months and in some cases years of collaboration across every department, obsessing over sound design, lighting, choreography, visuals, and camera angles to ensure that every fan, even those seated high in stadium rafters, felt immersed. Because I care deeply about every sound. We arrange and rearrange each song, visual edit, prop, and choreo piece until we get it to the best place we can. I push until I feel the soul in every element. Now, the result was a tour packed with headline-making moments, including surprise appearances from her. Well, it's not a surprise if her husband, Jay-Z, is there. Destiny's Child, same. Shabuzi and Miley Cyrus, along with emotional onstage cameos by her daughter, Blue Ivy and Rumi. Now, after a rocky launch marked by unsold seats and last-minute price drops, which is what I said, Beyonce kicked off her 5-night run at SoFi Stadium. The 5 shows ended up grossing a record-setting $55.7 million. Now, according to Billboard, the singer sold 217,000 tickets, surpassing major tours by Shakira, and Coldplay. It also ranks as the 5th highest grossing tour stop in box score history and the highest grossing single venue engagement ever by a female artist. So, regardless of the sluggish ticket sales and everything, and that's bound to happen in the beginning because, like I said before, I don't think people was really feeling Cowboy Carter like she had hoped. I mean, to be personally honest, I wasn't really country music is not my thing. I did like vocally how she sounded. Like I love the rawness of her voice on a lot of the cuts, and her immersing the Cowboy Carter era with the Renaissance era seemed like you basically took a lot from the Renaissance era and incorporated it into the Cowboy Carter tour, and then did the whole stadium thing, and people were eating it up and living for it. I don't know if it made as much as a cultural impact as a Renaissance tour, but based on some of the people was like, oh, they was in tears, they was emotional, they was getting a life from the tour. So I'm sure a lot of people got what they needed out of it. But the question for me is, are we going to get to see a visual of this? Not the visual album or whatever, because I don't even think she cares to do videos and things anymore. Like y'all still waiting on them Renaissance visuals. But in regards of like the documentary, like didn't she do a documentary Renaissance? Why has that never been released? Taylor Swift did a whole Eras Tour situation. She did a whole series and everything on what's that channel on Disney Plus? She did a whole bunch of stuff, giving her fans stuff, and the fans are satisfied for now. But Beyonce, girl, instead of you just trying to take the people's money for your tours and all those others, or only piping up when you want to sell something, how come you haven't given the fandom, the behind the scenes documentary concert of the Renaissance tour and hopefully the Cowboy Carter tour? And I'm sure with her popping up a lot lately, I have a strong feeling that we're about to get Act 3, because Beyonce don't never come out the house unless she got something to promote or there's a real reason behind it. So they said the triumph marked a sharp contrast for the weeks leading up to opening night, when resale tickets in the upper levels dipped as low, okay, Christina Milian, dipped as low as $20, an almost unheard of scenario for an artist of Beyonce's stature. And here's the thing. If y'all gonna be so desperate to sell tickets, and I'm just saying, not just for Beyonce, for anybody, if it's to the point where we need to fill up season, and I'll be telling y'all because I work in live entertainment, a lot of times if them seats ain't being sold, they be out there trying to bring them tickets down, and they give like that. Sometimes we get the physical ones. Sometimes, of course, if people bought their tickets in advance, you get the Ticketmaster stuff. But then you also get those physical tickets. Like, okay, we just last minute, whatever. If y'all could dip them tickets as low as $20, then why do y'all be charging people an arm and a leg for a regular ticket? So it's possible that they're gonna bring these tickets down to $20 and still make a bank off of it. So I just don't understand why people be charging people 700, or sometimes when I was telling people with Section E of the Mayhem Ball tour, tickets was $3,000. So if y'all can bring it down to $20, why y'all charging people $3,000? You would still be able to make whatever money you making, right? So it just seems to me it's just a whole Ponzi scheme, especially with these ticket masters, whatever the case is. I don't know much about if SeatGeek is doing it, but it seems like a lot of people's beef is with Ticketmaster and the way that y'all be ridiculous with these damn prices. So Daily Mail spoke with attendees at multiple LA dates, many of whom said viral social media clips and glowing critical reviews ultimately convinced them to buy tickets just hours before showtime. And that's what it was. That's what I was trying to get to. But when it comes to talk about this, people wanting to get everything out. I truly believe that people were not, when I was saying before, like people weren't really feeling this record because it was like, we don't want to hear a country album for Beyonce. And we wasn't really feeling them songs. And I didn't know what this tour was gonna give. I thought it was gonna be boring, whatever the case was. This is her standing there singing them old country songs with a band and having a couple of dancers do a little something, something, whatever. But after people saw the videos and stuff popping up all over social media, particularly TikTok, they were like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a ticket. And I'm gonna go see it, which made sense because I was at one point. I think I was saying before we knew anything about the tour, I was like, I don't know if she's gonna sell tickets to this. So I was a little skeptical, and it seemed like after the visuals and everything came out, and people saw the setup and the choreography and how everything was, they're like, okay, this looks interesting. It's not just gonna be just her standing, and you already know Beyonce stature, her doing a stadium tour. She's not just gonna stand there and give you bare minimum Mariah Carey performance tease. Like she's not gonna give you that. She's gonna give you a full show, regardless of the situation. So I can understand people being skeptical because, like, regardless, I don't care if it's Beyonce or Jesus Christ. If you're gonna be boring, I'm not giving up all my money for a boring show. So they said the audience shift coincided with an influx of celebrity attendees, including Brie Larson, Renee Rapp, Gayle King, which I will say this. She like Renee Rapp. I saw her perform at Jingle Ball when I worked at. She was cute. I liked her. She was cute up there. The girls were singing along. I was like, okay, let me find out some of y'all in here. How you doing? But the girls was up there singing along with her music. She was giving show. I'm like, okay, this girl got something. I wasn't really feeling her at first, but I'm like, okay, I think I like some of Renee Rapp stuff. But anyway, so they had Mindy Kaling and even Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Now, for Beyonce, the record-breaking success is less about numbers than legacy. So she said, I've been touring since the age of 15, nonstop. I have slowly built my legacy brick by brick. This show is a testament to the power of consistency and dedication to any craft. She recalled early tours in minivans, muddy costume changes, designing her own outfits when designers wouldn't, and years spent convincing promoters that an R&B artist could sell out stadiums. She said, I learned at a young age that nobody invests in you like you invest in yourself. And that's why I always say, if you don't believe in you, who else will? So the minute you actually sit up there with your confidence, even if you feeling like the shittiest person on the inside, you got to fake it till you make it. And if you could show like, yeah, if I invest in me, if I'm banking on me, then people will see that and eventually they'll come and invest in you. Now, looking ahead, she believes Cowboy Carter's impact on country music is only beginning. So, in 10 years, she said the young girls and boys who saw the show will become adults and believe they can be respected as country stars and sing whatever music they love. That makes me proud. Well, hopefully, we'll go there and we don't go backwards instead of forward. So, I'm hoping that happens in regards to that. That, you know what, maybe she will inspire that young girl who's coming up to pick up a guitar and want to sing and become like in the same vein of like a Tanner Riddell or something like that, where they want to write tort songs and shit and not be like, well, country music is only for white people. First of all, blues, country, all of that comes from black folks. All them drums, as I always say at the end of the day, leads to Africa if you really do your history on the music scene. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Beyonce opening up about the Cowboy Carter tour. Hopefully, she'll actually give the fans a little something, something regarding any behind the scenes or putting together the tour. And instead of releasing it in a theater, give it to Netflix. Netflix is like spending a whole lot of money getting things out here now, nowadays. While Warner Brothers is trying to keep Paramount from being stolen from Because Paramount's still trying to come up here fighting for fighting Netflix over this thing. And it's like Netflix said, no, we are gonna acquire this. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your overall thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. There is some deli. I don't know what that means. Palestine, Sudan, Haiti, Congo, Hawaii. So much of our not Sailor Mermaid coming with the list. Who said he was born? Well, look, Jesus is a biscuit. Let him sop you up. And Sailor Mermaid says, "Hey friends, how you doing?" All right. So now let's keep the story. Let's keep the topics coming and coming and coming. All right, let's talk about Timothee Chalamet, because Timothee Chalamet has this new movie coming out called Marty Supreme, or I think it's it comes out this week, right? It comes out on Christmas, I believe. But I know it's been in previews, and there's been a couple of theaters. I know it's been in select theaters or whatever the case is, and I heard that in like a couple of theaters, it's already grossed over $1 million. So it's making a little money or whatever here and there. But he's been on this weird sort of promotional situation regarding, like, he's been dressing like he's from the hood all of a sudden, and had like some people dressed with like golf balls or ping pong balls on their head. And I think he went to this festival thing where they show like movie previews or whatever, and then they interview celebrities out in Brazil. And then he's been out here rapping, and people are like, what the hell is going on with this boy? So apparently they're saying that he's been Kardashian-ized. So for his new movie, Marty Supreme, which opens nationwide Christmas Day and is already playing in New York City and LA, Chalamet's going global, traveling to merch events and appearing on The Tonight Show with a squad of people wearing, as I said earlier, giant ping pong balls as heads. This week, he even surprised the crowd at a New York City table tennis invitational. He promised on Friday to make 128 appearances at pre-release screenings of the film, and there was a cringe comedy Zoom call on social media in which he fruitinized? What the fuck is that? His ideas, like painting the Statue of Liberty and the Eiffel Tower, the movie signatures corroded orange, falling apart. Okay, first of all, here's the thing. I don't know what he's trying to prove with all of this, but this orange, this looks about as tacky as them denim jean outfits that Britney and Justin wore back in the day. I don't understand who thought that orange was a cute color. It's not. It's not flattering. I don't like the colors. Y'all look like two damn pumpkins, like y'all 2 months late. Halloween was in October, so I don't even understand why y'all trying to. I guess it's going along with the whole ping pong ball type situation. It just looks stupid. So they also went on to say he's been wearing that eye-popping hue to film premieres, coordinating outfits with his mom, Nicole Flender, in New York City and girlfriend Kylie Jenner in Los Angeles. Now, amid rumors that he's been living out an Andy Kaufman-style stunt as a masked Liverpool rapper named SD Kid, on Friday, Chalamet released a music video with the musician rapping about Marty Supreme and Jenner, saying, "Is Timothee Chalamet chilling, trying to stack 100 million? Girl got a billion." I could not with these lyrics. Who wrote that? Although Variety is pointing out, who knows if this SD Kid is real or a stand-in. Now, sources told Page Six that the actor has been influenced by an example of Jenner's family, who are all about building their personal brands, saying Timothy's been Kardashian-ized, said one industry source who has worked with him. Now, it's apparently working for him with Marty Supreme, in which he gives a critically lauded turn as frantic table tennis player Marty Mouser has racked up the fastest pre-sales in Studio A24's history, according to Deadline. He's already nominated for a Golden Globe. And I know some people saying that he might ruin his chance of winning an Oscar. I feel like he's just the new generation Gen Z person, which is like, this is the new way to market yourselves, whether you like it or not. It's the fact that, look, A24 hasn't had the biggest of hits when it comes down to some of the stuff they did. Didn't they do? Well, I don't know if they did the Sydney Sweeney movie, but the movie they did with Dwayne Johnson flopped at the box office, where he played the UFC fighter. and we didn't do well. And I feel like maybe because he had a lot of the marketing strategies of the Kardashians has rubbed off on him, something is working. I remember I was at work and I was in the restroom and I'm overhearing these young guys sitting there talking about Marty Supreme and all this other stuff. I'm like, why are y'all talking about a ping pong movie? Like, I didn't think it was such a big deal or whatever, but I guess because they've been engulfed by the marketing of this film, they're noticing these things and it's indoctrinating it in it. So clearly it's working. So Chalamet makes no bones about his ambition. He was nominated for an Academy Award for Call Me By Your Name in 2018 and again this year for A Complete Unknown, making him the youngest two-time Best Actor nominee since James Dean. Well, don't go out like James Dean. Then it said both Timmy and Kylie are just into a different genre, the way they think about life and how they want to live, noting he has pretty lofty goals. Now, in accepting a SAG award for the Best Actor for the Dylan biopic earlier this year, Chalamet said that he is really in pursuit of greatness, a seemingly sincere comment that was met with online snark and has name-checked Michael Jordan alongside Daniel Day-Lewis and Viola Davis. Saying all big actors get to be full of themselves is par for the course, said another Hollywood source who knows him. He really cares about the craft for sure. He's an actor with a capital A. So that could be it. It's like, 24/7. He's acting. It's all a performance. Like they said, Andy Kaufman, that's what it's giving. And I know a lot of people have been accusing him of cultural appropriation, especially with the rap song that he did and the new look he's been donning. I know it's like, oh, you got a fade or whatever. First of all, he shaved his head because he had to shave his head playing the for the next Dune movie because he's in that, of course, as the Muad'Dib. So he had to shave his head for that role. So his hair is pretty much growing back. That's why you sitting here on the look on the right is like how he's looking and stuff. So he shaved his head. The hair is growing back. It looks a little like a fade. And they talk about like all of a sudden this hood look. Me, I didn't really pay too much attention to it because I was like, Timothee Chalamet grew up in New York City. So I always assume that when you see some of these white boys running around with these big oversized jeans on and the baggy jackets and all the other stuff, that's how the kids dress. Like I knew plenty of white kids that dress like that. But I didn't know like his background. I was like, oh, he grew up privileged. He had money, he comes from a rich family, whatever the case was. I mean, then again, he did go to the high school of performing arts with Madonna's daughter, Lourdes, where they dated at one point. That was when I first became aware of him. And then he was on the show Homeland with Claire Danes. That's where I pretty much knew Timothée Chalamet from, because I think he was on season 2. I think he played the president's son, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but I do remember that he was on that show. So Timothée has come a long way. I don't know. I'm just like, what is it cultural appropriation though? Like I wasn't getting that vibe. I mean, maybe I got a blind spot and I ain't noticed. I haven't been really paying close attention. But I just feel like, look, if you love hip hop culture, and I've seen Timothée a couple of times, me working at the Garden last season when the Knicks was in the playoffs or whatever, he was there alongside Spike Lee and going nuts or whatever at the Knicks games. So I always thought like Timothée Chalamet was of the people. Or maybe that was an act, because around that time when I think the playoffs was happening, I think he was filming Marty Supreme. Because I'm not mistaken, I think they was filming Marty Supreme in Jersey. So that would be easy for him to like come out to New York if he had a day off or whatever to come to some of the games. Now, they said that despite recent rumblings that Jenner and Chalamet have broken up, they were glued together at the LA premiere of Marty Supreme earlier this month. And Page Six is told that he'll join the Kardashians at Kris Jenner's legendary Christmas Eve bash at her home in Calabasas, California, the day before his film opens nationwide, saying they're definitely still together, but it's not like she needs to be at every promotional event to prove it. Well, that's true, because there's been a lot of events that they've been kind of like not attached at the hip. And I actually kind of like that. I don't have to constantly prove that I'm in a relationship with you. That means we have to show up everywhere all the time. I'm like, I don't like clingy people like that. So if it comes to a situation where we got to understand that I could just come over there and visit whenever I need to, or we need to meet up or whatever, then that's great. But I do like this idea that they've been able to make a black, from what we see on paper, that he's been able to make this relationship work, because even though he's in a relationship with a high profile girl like Kylie Jenner, we don't never hear nothing about their relationship. This is all speculation that be coming from the tabloids. So he's pretty private and we haven't heard anything that's coming out. But we'll see if she does pop up at the Golden Globes on January 11th, which I'm sure. Well, I don't even remember. I'm assuming he was nominated for Marty Supreme. So we'll see how it all goes. And so far, I like the idea that Kylie has been playing it smart, where she's been kind of very protective of her relationship with um Timothy, rather than exploiting it the way them other sisters do. Oh, they were talking about that they were not publicly seen together after that until July, when they were spotted holding hands during a weekend in Saint Tropez. They said Chalamet, whose father is French, speaks the language fluent. Well, we don't know that. That's probably what he and Lourdes had in common, because they both speak French. Um, and with a name like Chalamet, Chalamet is French, so I'm like, duh. I just love how Page Six actually, like, they're so smarter than they think they are. Like, oh, Chalamet's father speaks French. I'm like, Chalamet is a French name. I would think he wouldn't speak speak French. Isn't there a song about Girls Aloud where they talk about they don't speak French, but they let the song do the talking? I can't speak French. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Timothy Chalamet? Do you think it's all a ruse? Do you think it's all a bunch of BS? Or this is just some clever new way of marketing to get butts and seats? Well, it seems like it's working, because a lot of people got their pre-sale tickets, and we'll see how well this does. But if it does show that this whole marketing strategy works, because like, what the hell is going on? What the heck is Timothy doing? And why do I feel the need to watch this movie? Because he's doing all this weird method performance, Andy Kaufman type thing. So, and if it works, A24 is, oh, we got a big one now. We got to try to find ways to keep this momentum going with future movies and actors who I guess are going to be willing to play that game that Timothy played. But Timothy's on a whole nother plane. When you got a girlfriend that's the master at marketing, not everybody has that. So if Sydney Sweeney plans on doing an A24 movie, or Pedro Pascal, or Glenn Powell, whoever, or Kristen Stewart, I don't know if they'd be on the same level or game enough to play the same type of marketing strategy that he did, because of who he's in a relationship with. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Some people think that he is that rapper, all Kardashian relationships, and try to, well, look, it's only a matter of time before that happens with them. I don't want to wish no ill will on their relationship, but if it turns out to be that way, then it is what it is. All right, so let's get into this tragic relationship. Let's talk about the Corey. So the other day we talked about Corey Feldman apparently has a documentary, which I didn't know which channel it was playing on. But thank you, Daily Mail, for revealing which channel it's on, because apparently it's on Apple TV Plus. Because the other day I'm like, okay, so where's the documentary at? Because I kind of want to see it. So apparently the other day, Corey Feldman said that Corey Haim M-worded him while they worked on The Lost Boys, which y'all already know is one of my all-time favorite vampire films. Now that Corey Haim's mother has come out and went scorched earth on Corey Feldman has walked back his claims on saying that Corey Haim touched him inappropriately on the set of The Lost Boys. So in a new Apple TV documentary about his life, Feldman claimed that he was M-worded by his former confidant, Haim, who died in 2010 at 38 while they filmed the 1987 vampire flick, The Lost Boys. They were both 16 at the time. Well, it's funny how somebody said one was 14 and one was 16, but they clearly are the same age. So that was a gaffe on the previous article's part. So I remember I did kind of say earlier that I was like, wait, somebody was like, no, the article says this. So I apologize, because apparently now they're saying that they were the same age. But after Haim's mother, Judy, blasted Feldman over the comments and claimed that he was just trying to keep himself relevant, the 54-year-old former child star has seemingly changed his tune. On Friday, Feldman's legal team told Daily Mail that Feldman's M-word station comments in the documentary were a mischaracterization of his relationship with Haim, and they denied that Haim had SA'd Feldman. Feldman's reps had also said that his statements featured in the documentary only showed him alleging that Haim had made a move on him, and they claimed that Feldman declined Haim's advances. Because y'all went and said in the comments, he was like, let's go fool around. Like, oh, people do this all the time, where they SMD each other's peen between me down there. I'm trying to find ways to clean stuff for YouTube purposes. So I'm trying not to get as graphic, but y'all get it. It was like, oh, that this is what they do, or whatever the case was. Because I truly believe, like, yeah, Corey Haim was, and Corey Feldman has admitted that he was abused by people in the industry, and Corey Haim was passed around a bit, and I believe that's where his bout with drugs came about, because he was willing to deal with a lot of maybe some internalized stuff that was going on, as well as a lot of the abuse that he endured at the hands of uh people in the industry. A lot of people aren't strong enough to handle that. Like, I just saw a story today, if I'm not mistaken, there was a kid who survived the Parkland pow-powing, unalived themselves. And it's probably because they couldn't handle a lot of the trauma that comes with that. Like, people don't realize the PTSD that comes with a lot of these traumatic situations. Oh yeah, you survived a pow-powing, but you don't realize, like, okay, you may have survived, but there's that survivor's guilt. There's also that waking up in cold sweats. You're not dealing with your situations. Yeah, you can go and seek therapy, but then there's some people, like, the quick thing that a lot of these um people want to do is they want to drug you up. They want to put you on these prescription medications. And to me, that's only putting a Band-Aid on the situation. But eventually you got to take the Band-Aid off and let the wound heal. And you can't do that if you keep popping pills prescribed by your doctor, of course, which I call some of these people modern day pusher men. I mean, you see what happened with people that were subscribing Matthew Perry and a bunch of others prescribed drugs, right? So they said any article regarding the purported comment that Mr. Feldman claims Corey Haim M-worded him is a sensationalized mischaracterization of the statements made in the film. The statement read in part. Mr. Feldman's statement was that during the filming of The Lost Boys, Mr. Haim sought to mess around with Mr. Feldman. However, Mr. Feldman did not reciprocate his advances and contacted another party on behalf of Mr. Haim. Mr. Feldman's statements that Mr. Haim M-worded him was in reference to Mr. Haim's advances and not physical M-word station. Feldman's legal team claimed. It sounds like a whole bunch of word salad, in my opinion. I mean, even though I'm understanding what y'all saying, but it's like, where did that come from, though? That it was in the article that it said that he did something to him. The part of he declined the advances wasn't mentioned in the previous stories. Unless you're trying to say all the other articles are lying because they were looking to create sensationalism for clicks and likes. So they also said his clarification comes after Haim's mother, who's 54. Haim's mother's 54. She can't be the same age as Corey Feldman. That doesn't make sense. But it says his clarification came as claims Haim's mother lashed out at Feldman on Thursday, alleging that he is trying to keep himself relevant and that her son was not into men while speaking to TMZ. Judy noted that her late son is no longer able to refute the claims and alleged that Feldman is creating another lie to poison people's heads and keep himself relevant. She insisted that there is no way in hell that Corey M-worded Feldman and questioned why would they be friends for so long if this happened? It doesn't add up. Absolutely. And this is what was brought up in the last story that we did. So I was like, but wait a minute. Y'all did a whole documentary. Y'all did not even documentary, a reality show together. Y'all did a whole reality series together. Y'all were always hanging out with each other. Y'all did a ton of, straight to DVD movies together. So if Corey Haim did all these things to you, why would you still maintain a friendship with him? So yeah, something in the milk wasn't clean at the time. But with me, I always try to believe, like, if you was a victim of something, we should believe you first. But if Corey, you doing these things where you create narratives and fake news or whatever, so that way you can maintain a sense of relevancy, especially towards someone who's dead and is not here to defend themselves, because you already got people side-eyeing you over the fact that you spread that rumor about Charlie Sheen M-wording Corey Haim on the set of Lucas, where the story was that he R-worded him in between the trailer by putting Crisco in his booty hole and pretty much went to town. That was the story that came out, which Corey's mother, Haim's, Judy, refuted those claims. So Stop. I feel like stop speaking on other people's stuff who is not here to defend themselves. If you want to tell your story, if you want to tell what went on in your life and what happened to you, the abuse, your upbringing, being in Hollywood, the it boy of the '80s or whatever the case. If you want to tell that story, tell that story. But don't be out here trying to clout chase over somebody who's dead. To me, it just feels it's morbid, it's tacky, and it's just it lacks coup. So Corey's mother went on to say that he liked women and not men and would tell her, I don't care if someone is gay, but I'm not gay or any of that stuff. Feldman has previously claimed that he and Haim were victims of SA as young actors in Hollywood. Judy went on to say that Feldman always talks about sex and blames my kid for things that he is not here to defend himself about. Furthermore, Judy claimed Corey was always accompanied on set by either her, his father, or his sister, including on The Lost Boys, which is why she believes Feldman's claims don't add up. Judy is reportedly considering taking legal action against the actor. Now, in Corey Feldman versus the World, Feldman alleged Haim as sexually propositioned him while they filmed The Lost Boys. The LA native said he was 16 when he appeared opposite Haim, also then 16 in the film, which was one of their multiple cinema collaborations. And funny enough, when you looked at Corey Haim, he looked much younger because he had like a baby face. Now, Feldman said, when we did The Lost Boys, Corey said to me, hey, man, let's mess around. And I said, what do you mean? Nico, what do you mean? Feldman said in the documentary that Haim told him, this is what what guys in the business do, right? You S each other's D's or you F around, you do this stuff. And I said, what are you talking about? Well, child, I think he's pretty much spelled it out for you. He said, if we suck each other dick and we fuck around, I think that's pretty much self-explanatory. Now, in the documentary from director Marcy Hume, Feldman says that Haim then initiated sexual activity while they were making The Lost Boys, in which they played the respective roles of Edgar, Frog, and Sam. Feldman made a reference to actor Charlie Sheen, who has past denied accusations that Feldman made, claiming Haim had said Sheen S.A.'d him when he was 13 on the set of Lucas, which came out in '85. A rep for Sheen told Variety of the alleged Haim claims, saying these sick, twisted, and outlandish allegations never occurred, period. Now, Feldman said that he was fully understanding of what Haim was looking for from him and decided to oblige him in an effort to make the behavior stop. So you're saying one thing through your reps, but you literally said that he understood what Haim was looking for from him. What was he looking for? And you obliged him in an effort to make the behavior stop. I called him and said, come over, Feldman said, but when you have got somebody that's trying to come onto you sexually and you don't want that and you're a kid and you are scared, you do whatever you can to stop it from happening. Well, encouraging it don't necessarily mean it's going to stop it from happening. It's going to keep happening. And that's what was happening. I was being M-worded by Corey Haim, truth be told. So this is stuff that literally came out your mouth. So you literally like trying to act like you pissing on our leg and telling us it's raining. Like, what? Like, I can't even take this kid seriously no more. And I used to like Corey Feldman, but if you're out here spreading lies, you need to be. If I was the mother, I would take your ass to court. Now, Hume said the interview with Feldman took place in late 2017 amid multiple accusations against powerful figures at the height of the #MeToo movement, marking an incredible emotional moment. The director said that Feldman was almost reliving what it was like to live in his hypersexualized environment as child actors in Hollywood. The Lost Boys was directed by Joel Schumacher, who I believe was a homosexual, and also starred Jason Patric, J.B. Gertz, Kiefer Sutherland, Diane Weiss, and Alex Winter. The film, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we don't care. We already know when the movie came out. Now, Feldman in 1986 appeared in the late Rob Reiner's Stand By Me, playing the role of troubled preteen Teddy Duchamp. Now, an IMDb synopsis of the film, of the new doc, reads, Corey Feldman embarks on a surreal rock tour with lingerie-clad angels, facing disastrous events that compel him to confront Hollywood abuse, allegations, and personal secrets. This sounds like a mess. But then again, being that it's a mess, I might want to watch it. So they said, it's been the longest, hardest road on a film that kept going places I never expected. She added, after filming on buses and in hotel rooms and flying all over the country with my Canon 5D, endless edits and screenings with Adam Scott Franklin and at Starlene BR. And okay, I don't know. I don't want to say all these fucking Instagram posts names because I ain't trying to figure out what the hell they are. Now she showed up with a bunch of damn people. So she said their fierce belief in seeing this through. Today, the Corey Feldman versus the World trailer and pre-order link are available. So it says it's on Apple TV Plus, but now she's talking about is available for pre-order, and the pre-order link and the trailer is out. And is it available for us to watch on Apple TV Plus, or do I got to pay for it? Because if I got to pay for it, I ain't paying for it. I'll just take y'all word for the stuff that came out in the article. But anyway, I think I pretty much said all I need to say about this whole situation as I was going through the article and reading it and all that other stuff. But yeah, if you was out here spreading lies because you want clout or you want people to watch your thing because nobody's going to care about all the other stuff you're doing, like the horrible music that you make, if that's not going to be the hook to get people to watch, you felt the hook to get people to watch is to make accusations that, oh, Corey Haim wanted to fool around and we fooled around and he molested me. And I thought if I kept doing it, it would stop, and it wouldn't. If that's your hook, yeah, you're going to get people to want to watch. But I don't think it just makes you look like trash because now you're backpedaling. So, and it makes it harder for people that actually have been abused come forward because of situations like this. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are on the latest regarding Corey Feldman, now backtracking over the fact that he said that Corey Haim M-worded him. Now you trying to backpedal because Corey's mother came out and was like, oh, what you're not going to do is piss all over my child's legacy with these latest allegations. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Oh, okay. Oh, how you doing? You said Canadians have leaked the banned video from 60 Minutes in defiance of CBS censorship. Ironically, Joel Schumacher directed that. Oh, did they? You said Eddie Murphy, Tom Cruise, Sylvester Stallone, Harrison Ford still thriving 40 plus years later. Okay. You said I'll share the screenshot. I clicked on the link, but YouTube already took it down. But from what I'm seeing, there are screen recordings of it. Oh, well, you probably have a better chance watching it on Blue Sky. I'll find a way to get around to watching those clips. Compliances towards someone in power. Corey Haim was the same age as him. If anything, Feldman would have took them being the same age as a means to not just decline, but go off on him. That's why I said it's like you would think it would be a power dynamic. Now I could understand if it was someone like a Kiefer Sutherland, and I like Kiefer, but I'm saying because Kiefer was older, if he or Jason Patrick, if you would have said one of them was doing the proposition and forced you to do some stuff, it would have been more believable because it is an age power dynamic or a size dynamic. Corey Haim looked way younger than him, and they were the same age. So yeah, it doesn't make sense. It said that this has to become his career, talking about all the sleazy escapades. I mean, I love the escapades for the grist for the mill, but not if you're going to sit up out here and creating sensationalism and lies because you want attention. Unfortunately. All right, y'all. So I forgot to do my other thing because I did one of the 4 topics. So we down our final 3 topics of the night. So if you can, please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. And also be sure to smash that notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the Beckham. So it looked like ended like Beckham, pretty much, because now it seems like we may know why Brooklyn Beckham has pretty much turned his back on the Beckham family. So apparently I think he's trying to become a chef. Maybe he's trying to go for a job over there on the Food Network or Project Runway. Maybe he could do Worst Cooks in America. You got you got a little celebrity edition. So Brooklyn Beckham apparently blocked his family on social media because his mother, Victoria, liked one of his posts. So the former Spice Girls singer reportedly double tapped the photographer turned chef's post about him roasting a chicken, according to the U.S. Sun. Now, in the post, Brooklyn, who's 26, discovered how to give the chicken extra flavor through beer brining. I don't know. I've never done that before. The like from Victoria, 51, caused an influx of fans to fill Brooklyn's comment section, begging for him to make amends with his family. The annoyed not cooking with Brooklyn, child. The annoyed Cooking with Brooklyn star then blocked his mom as well as his dad, David Beckham, and brother Cruz within hours. The outlet also reported that Brooklyn had blocked his other siblings, Romeo and Harper Beckham. Well, goddamn, what the hell did they do that you went and turned your back on the family? Like they said on RuPaul, what did the family do? Well, they said, what did Willem do? But what did the Beckhams do? What did the Beckhams do? The outlet also reported that Brooklyn had blocked. Oh, I read that part. Now, the source told the U.S. Sun that David 50 and Victoria are understandably heartbroken by what's gone on here. He said this came out of the blue for them, and in the lead up to Christmas, when families are supposed to come together, it's devastating, according to an insider. All they want is for things to be fixed, but with every week, they just seem to be getting worse. Unsurprisingly, Cruz and Romeo are furious that Brooklyn would make such a public attack. Well, Romeo, you're no innocent in this whole situation because or is it Cruz? It's one. I think feel like the both. There have been times where Cruz and Romeo have gone on social media and been very much outspoken in things going against their brother, and have posted things on social media. So I don't know if necessarily we can make this a one-sided situation. And wasn't it one of them? What was it? Cruz that was out here hunching Brooklyn's ex, allegedly. That may have caused the rift between them, but Brooklyn's married. I wouldn't care if my brother's doing my leftovers. So the source claimed that Brooklyn wants his family issues fixed in private and not played out on social media, although his actions have resulted in quite the opposite. And I was about to say, wait a minute now. If that's what you want, but you talking about that you want things fixed in private, then why would you go and do a whole block of your family members on social media, knowing full on well these nosy ass sleuths that be out here are going to post, are going to notice it and make us think about it. And now here we are with a whole article written on it. Page Sixes reached out to reps for both Brooklyn and Victoria for comment, but did not immediately hear back. Now, over the weekend, Cruz, who's 20, took to Instagram to shut down reports that his parents had unfollowed their eldest child on Instagram. Not true. My mom and dad would never unfollow their son, the optics singer wrote alongside a screenshot of the article. Oh, so yeah, there was I'll have to show y'all because I didn't even think about doing this, but there was actually a post from the Daily Mail where they actually hold on because now I gotta pull it up for y'all to see. There was a whole thing with them and Nicola Peltz and all that other mess. Here we are. Here we are. There's thing right there, and then it's the post where if you can see it. It says David and Victoria Beckham unfollow estranged son Brooklyn 26 as revealed, blah, 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 blah. He'll spend his Christmas with his wife's billionaire parents amid family feud. And he said, yeah. He said, not true. My mom and dad would never unfollow their son. Let's get the facts straight. They woke up blocked, as did I. So that's basically what he's been saying out here regarding their brother. And there goes the picture of the roasted chicken. It's been since look at me. Okay, so and look at the happier times when Brooklyn was with his dad. I just really want them to work it out. I hate when family fight. I mean, I'm the last to talk because I have my own family dynamics. You know, you do what you can to make things work in relation, whenever you have like family dynamics or crazy relationships or way that turns out to be. But sometimes you can only do but so much. You can only lead the horse to water, but you can't make them drink. You try to do what you can with these people, but they do what they do and it is what it is. And that's all we can do. It's like, okay, well, when you're ready, I don't know if I'll be ready to rekindle because I put out that olive branch, but whatever. So in October, a source told Us Weekly that Brooklyn had no interest in making amends with the Beckham family right now. He's really focused on living a peaceful, drama-free life with his wife, Nicola Peltz, who's 30. And that's crazy that she's older than him. I was like, wait a minute. Now I got to scroll back. I was like, how old is Brooklyn again? Because I know y'all had that age. Oh, he's 26. So that's not bad. She's only 4 years older. But look, this is the life he wants to live in. He's trying to figure out his own stuff without his family or whatever, then let him do what he's doing. But I really want to understand, like, what is the root of you pretty much just turning your back and cutting out your whole family and wanting nothing to do with them? That's got to be a sad thing because, God forbid, if anything happens and your family's not here anymore, and, if something happens to your parents, you don't want to live that life in regret of what it could have, should have. But if the family is toxic, then for your own safety and mental well-being, you do what you got to do to protect your peace of mind. I mean, those of us in the homosexual community, we've learned to do that. So I totally get it. Like, if it's a situation like that, I'm not saying that he's gay, but if it's a situation where it's just like, yeah, when you try to just cut ties with family that are just toxic, sometimes it's best to just cut ties with all of them because it's like, I don't want to subject myself to the foolishness. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, it's sad when, families are going through what they're going through and there's no sight of there's no reconciliation set in sight. And hopefully they work it out. But I guess, whatever. Time heals all wounds. I'll definitely keep abreast of this story. Maybe there is something I'm missing. I got to do a little deep dive to figure out why the girls is fighting, the Beckhams is fighting. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Being judged by wanting to be a socialite and marrying into American family. But like people said, he lived in the States for most of his life, where Rocco remembers London more than New York. Yeah, and at one point, because his father, was playing soccer and football and all other stuff, it's like, yeah, they moved to the United States. He kind of has like that whole socialite mentality. And look, if he's found a way to where I was like, I don't feel like working, I'm gonna do the chef thing. I like cooking, and he can make money going on TikTok and posting videos and being an influencer in some sort of way. If that's his thing that he wants to do, let him do that. Don't clown him because it's like, oh well, you just want to be an influencer. You want to be a socialite. You need to get up off your ass and get a job. Well, if that's not what you instilled in him, that's your fault as a damn parent. That you create a lazy ass child. And if this is what he's figured out that he wants to do, let him do it. He's grown and married, and his wife don't have no problems with it. But then again, I do wonder should they get a divorce? How much is he gonna get out of it? But also, if you do end up getting a divorce, hopefully that's not gonna be the only thing where it's like, oh damn, I screwed up. I cut off all ties with my family. Now I want to rekindle a situation because my meal ticket is no longer my meal ticket. Because I'm sure some people thinking that Nicola is putting him up to the disowning of the family. All right, y'all. So now let's move on into the rest of the show. And let's get into some homosexual news. Let's talk about Pedro Pascal. Apparently, according to the Instagram situation, they said that he's a wait, hold on, because now I totally forgot to do this. They say he's a heated rivalry fan. Now, I will say this, even though I already know some of the stuff that went down, I have not seen the last two episodes of Heated Rivalry. But then I was like, when I saw that sequence where with the whole gay situation, I was like, when he pulled the boyfriend out with the guy that he was secretly sleeping with on the ice, I was like, and what planet is this a reality? But I guess, um, that's all I had to hold on because I had to bring up this picture, create a whole new thing so that way I can bring it up so y'all see it. But anyway, so I was like, this would not happen in real life. But then again, it is a TV show, so we got to suspend disbelief and think about how that's going to happen. But I do wonder because of what he did, what will happen between the other two that's on the show and the repercussions behind an athlete coming out of the closet in this whole situation. I'm like, where the hell is this photo? Oh, I got it. I was like, where is Pedro and the gays? So anyway, I got it. So the episodes have aired. I think there's only one more episode to go before the finale. So apparently they're saying that Pedro Pascal has been standing heated rivalry just like the rest of us homosexuals. And the fandoms for both the actor and the Crave HBO Max series are now clocking his sweet and hilarious reactions to social media posts about the gay hockey show that's taken over the world. Now, over the weekend, fan accounts like @_Pascal Archive, @Blueberry Skip, @Buzzing Pop, @Wonder X Boy, and @Pedro P Nation started servicing likes, comments, and reactions from the Fantastic Four and The Last of Us actor that directly referenced the heated rivalry show. Now, I do have that photo as well. That was the one I was basically like putting in real quick. So yeah, this is the post or whatever they were saying that he was liking. So Pascal like a heated rivalry post from Instagram users like Kiara_Lewis1 and Daisy Moon.28. And then he went on to say, when you're tipsy but still remember you must spread the gospel of heated rivalry. And then Daisy Moon said what it feels like when your country is burning to the ground, but Canada gives you a gay hockey show at least. And then they say, even more notably, Pascal commented on an Instagram video of people at a sports bar losing their minds while watching Heated Rivalry episode 5. I'll believe in anything, which led to a hilarious back and forth between the actor and Instagram user Francis Dominic. Well, I find that funny that one of the things I didn't even realize is that um they're showing heated rivalry in sports bars. I mean, so I'm wondering, like, if I went to Boxers or if I went to Gym Bar in the city, I went to a homosexual bar because those are gay bars, sports bars. Would I go in there and be able to see heated rivalry airing? But I'm like, I can watch it at home. So, but yeah. So let me take this out so that way I don't know if y'all can read it, but yeah, if you really look down at the bottom, whatever, I guess if you're on your TV screen. If you watch it on TV on the phone, it might not be possible to see it, but you do see Pascal's punk. It says liked up in there. So yeah, you can definitely see that he liked a couple of the comments. So I'm like, look, he's always been an ally. Nobody knows if Pedro is one of us. I got my theories on that. But look, he lives for the LGBTQIA plus community. I mean, his sister's trans. She's gonna be on that new show from Ryan Murphy that's coming out, I think, next month with the models or whatever. So another person said, my local bar, sports bar, reacting to the end of Heated Rivalry episode 5. This is insane. The original poster wrote on the IG video. Dominic wrote in the caption, the way the crowd reacts to Heated Rivalry season episode 5 is insane. This is how this show should have been viewed. What a special experience. Just want to show y'all's impact because of the show and Rachel Reed and showrunner Jacob Tierney. Watching Heated Rivalry in a packed sports bar is truly the experience of a lifetime, he concluded. So many of us who like men, who love men on screen, I will never get this. He also thanked, as I said, it was going to be shown at Gym Bar WeHo, which I've been to that one when I was out in LA. Gym Bar WeHo for hosting a viewing party. So Pascal commented under the post with 3 heart emojis. And they said Dominic reacted to Pascal's comment with a hilarious video in which he's seen trying to hide a Pedro Pascal merch t-shirt and acknowledging the actor's comment as casually as possible, saying, Pedro Pascal, what are we doing here? If you need someone to just watch Heated Rivalry with you or any movies or television, I'm available. I live in LA, also New York. Oh, you bi-coastal? Or wherever you want me to fly to. And he also said, this friendship is available. Okay, love you. Thanks for being here. So Pedro was out here, living for the children, walking children in nature, and liking comments. And I like when the actors be personal and don't give a damn what other people think. But you know what? I like Heated Rivalry. It's a great show. It's a great soap. People are living for it. But I just hope that this show brings more representation to the community besides just this show. Because it goes to show, like, look, with all the stuff that we've been hearing about, Boots getting canceled, so many other gay shows that have been canceled, I like the fact that we at least have one show that people are living for, and HBO is standing behind it and already has been given a season 2. I just hope that with this thing that there'll be more shows to come. They don't necessarily have to be in the sports world, but we need all queer representations represented or queer identities or whatever represented in this whole situation. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the tea that Pedro Pascal out here liking these heated rivalry comments? That he might be a fan of the show. I'm wondering if, when he comes out and starts promoting whatever next project he's got coming out, because y'all be talking about he overexposed, but we ain't seen Pedro out here in a couple of months. So I don't know what overexposure y'all talking about. But when he comes out and people ask him about Peter rivalry, we'll see if he brings that up. But yeah, so I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your overall thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Okay, so yeah, I read that one. Is that I love how Pedro is completely dismantling the concept of being in the closet. He basically think when you want to think, I'm doing me. Exactly. And it's like, do we think that Pedro might be one of the rules? I hope so. I want to sleep with him. But like, yeah, look, I would love the fact that Pedro Pascal is a part of the community. I believe he might be. We've heard stories about people with all the siblings was a part of the LGBTQ plus community. There was one celebrity, I can't remember who it was, that said that yeah, all her kids is gay. I'm like, girl, what was going on with your eggs? That all the children was queer. Oh, I think what it was oh my god, what's her name? Chloe Grace Moretz. I think all of the siblings is gay. She's a lesbian, married to a woman. Her brother's gay. So yeah, it's like a whole. And I think she has another sister who's a lesbian or something or another. And then of course Pedro Pascal is a trans sister, and we don't know about him because he don't talk about it. But of course, I'm sure a lot of the rumors are there. A man in his 50s and single. Need we say more? I mean, I know that's a stereotype, but we have never seen Pedro out here with a significant other. And plus, there was always those rumors about him and Omar Apollo and a bunch of stuff. So, and he's always windmilling hard for the LGBTs. And it's like, look, you'd be surprised how many people in the community are of the community that are professional actors, A-list. And if he don't want to talk about his situation, he doesn't have to. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our final topic, and let's talk about Noah's Ark. So shout out to Gay Magazine because y'all been out here giving me my life, talking a lot about the Noah's Ark and stuff. We just did something the other day where they was talking to oh my god, I forgot his name. The actor that played Chance and some of the stuff that he was talking about regarding the show. That yeah, like after Noah's Ark, it was 7 years before he was able to get any kind of work. And he had to resort to working behind the scenes as a director and a writer and that sort of thing in order to get work. And so Christian Vincent, who we all know as Ricky, the slut of the group, and he's also a choreographer. So he was on the groundbreaking series y'all know Noah's Ark in the movies, including Jump with the Broom. He revealed basically how some of the fans sexualized him in real life because of his character Ricky. So yeah, he did an interview, as I said, with Gay Magazine, and it's funny how like people just pretty much treated him, the way that they treated him. And it's sad that people can't differentiate from a TV show in real life. And it's like, I'm playing a character. I'm not a hoe in real life. I mean, I might be a hoe with whoever I'm in a relationship with, but for y'all to sit up in here and treat me like treat me like a prostitute, then it's like no. But hold on, we got the clip. I'm gonna go to the clip because we're gonna play the Gay Magazine clips. We're gonna promote them over there because they be doing good jobs and stuff of that. And then we'll come back and talk. Please hold in case y'all need to refresh.
Dwayne, I have a strict policy of no sexual relations with employees. Well, then I quit. You can't quit. Why not? Because you're fired.
Because you're fired.
I know you really wanna hit the
So let me move the music. Hold on, because I was like, child, first of all, when he was making out with her, I was like, who is that sexy chocolate? I remember I fell out on the floor when I saw that. But anyway, let's play the clip. Let's get back
Always
to it.
been this sort of like hot boy on the show. Everyone knows he's like the free spirit, flirty. He's had his moments in time where we're like, all right, Ricky, you better do your thing. But also, I feel like there is often this misconception in the gay community about promiscuity being like so prevalent. And I'm wondering, was there ever a moment in time, first of all, where people coming up to you thinking like you actually behave like Ricky?
Do you need help with those? Dwayne.
Hold on, before we get to that next clip, can I tell you, Christian looked good here? Because I remember that last Noah's Ark movie we saw. I was like, what's going on with you? You was looking a little bloated and a little sweaty, but you look good here. But let's get to the other piece.
That some people were very, yes, did people think I was my character? Yes.
Yeah.
Approach me or not approach me as such? Definitely.
Oh my God, tell me more. What happened?
I mean, people will approach you how you could be really like in your face and, you're like Ricky and going to react like Ricky. Or I also noticed that because Ricky has just like a veneer that might be not so readily inviting. So that was also another thing. I'd see people like, hey, there's that, and then you could feel that distant. It was like with Ricky or what they felt. So I got both. The people who were like unabashedly didn't care would come right up to me, and then I will say that some people were very, yes, did people think I was my character? Yes. And there would be individuals who thought I was him and treated me either sometimes, positively or negatively because of it. So
that's crazy.
So I guess I did my job. Let's put it that way.
I was going to say that. I'm like, you did the job well.
My job. All right.
Yeah. I love that. I also just really appreciate the fact that you said it's an honest character. I think personally, if we're just going to take it to the simplification of Ricky being this quote unquote hoe, you could be a hoe if you're straight, if you're gay, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a pure and human experience. And so just to see him really embody that and just stand in his truth has always been really cool to me. Because I don't know, we just need more people just being real. And I often was like really drawn to the character for that particular energy, I would say.
And there would be individuals.
That is true, and that was one of the reasons why I drew to him. So some of the people in the comments, I think there might be more to it, but some of the people in the comments said, "LOL, he's good looking, but Trey has always been my type." Then we had Do Dirty, hey DJ, he said he does look amazing. He's got to go. Yeah, he do look good here, but I remember that last Noah's Ark movie that they did. I was like, that cannot be Christian. Looking like that. What happened to Ricky? But he looked good here. I'm gonna go to y'all film that. But anyways, then another said one person said he's definitely the Linda. I guess y'all compared to the girlfriends, but I guess that would be what black people would do. If it was white folks, they would, or people that outside of the white fandom, they would say Samantha from Sex and the City, because those were always the comparisons. Sex and the City was the litmus test of the comparisons when it came to a lot of the shows. But somebody said he was definitely the Lynn of the show, but the fact people would really go up to him expecting him to be like Ricky is, it's like the over, how slow can y'all be that y'all literally go up to people and think that you could just treat them any old way and thinking, like, oh yeah, because I've seen him and I think you are this character on a TV show. I'm gonna just get up in your face and proposition you in a way and thinking that you're gonna get a character that you see on a TV show. It's like, y'all do know I'm acting, right? It's like, what's wrong with y'all? Another person say he looks amazing. And the thing, it's been 20 years of the show that introduced me to finding myself. Ooh, the gay version of Girlfriends. And I tell you, everybody's gonna compare it to that, but it was like, it was Sex and the City was kind of like the show that broke the mold, and of course, everybody had their version of Sex and the City because we all know Samantha was a gay man trapped in a woman's body. And then another person said Ricky cool, but it always gave Chance, Noah, or Wade, or Baby Gat. Another person said he looks so good. I know Mr. Chocolate he did that scene where it had me lusting bad. Oh, child, you and me both. Because I was like, who is this boy up in here? The way he was sucking on that bottom lip, I'm like, yeah, if that's some old nasty kissing. If I ain't never seen it, and that's when you know is good when you get that old nasty kissing. But anyway, so to conclude with all of that, then they decided to get into some other stuff, which was talking about when Christian Vincent talked about the thoughts about that infamous scene of Ricky kissing Wade in the Noah's Ark movie before they went down and walked down the aisle and got married. And some people was asking, like, yeah, should Noah and Ricky, because remember, similar to Ricky and Noah was a similar situation between Brian and Michael, which was y'all had a little situation, but you never fully had y'all little sexual thing. Y'all never, like how Justin said, oh, you never got off. What came with Michael, like y'all, he edged you a little bit and y'all had a little situation, but it never was like a completely satisfying sexual thing. And that's kind of like what happened with Ricky and Noah. It was like a quick skeet situation. Like he had a quickie. Y'all remember the episode? And with and then it's like, okay, now we all know Ricky was a slut, but if you trying to push up on Noah's man, to me that's the ultimate disrespect. And this is saying, like, yeah, now if a situation like that occurred where you was in a serious relationship with someone and your friend pushed up on your man before y'all was about to walk down the aisle, would they still be friends? So we have that clip also, and then we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
Ricky was a little loose. We saw him and Noah, they had a little thing. I believe it was in Jumping the Broom. We saw Wade and Ricky kiss as well. And Corey and I were talking about this over the phone. Yeah. We're like, I would not be his friend in the show.
Between me and you, I always wondered what the fuss was about you. How come nobody ever turned you down? Not even Arturo. Yeah. Yeah.
Given Ricky was a little loose, we saw him and Noah, they had a little thing. Yeah.
Shit. No. Noah. Noah.
So, like, what's your personal take on like guy code and just like that overall like friendship? It's off limits or not off limits aspect as it really.
That would be off limits.
Yeah,
I would. But because I think about that, and I remember Ricky saying like he wanted to find out, like he was in love with Noah, and he wanted to figure out what was it about him that Noah like was into it. And that was Ricky's kind of screwed up, maybe fucked up way of figuring it out. And yeah. So, I mean, people do some stupid things in the name of love. And there's also like conflicted emotions. I think when people can love somebody, but there's like animosity. And I think Ricky was used to getting everything that he wanted. It's like, oh, can I get this?
Yeah.
Because this is, I'm not a psychologist, but
No, I understand. I'll catch you. Picking up what you think.
Let me see what it is about this. And also let me see if I can get it. And let me see. And maybe there's a little tinge of like, I can get it. And that kind of hurts you, because I'm hurting. So hurt people do hurt fucked up stuff.
And that is true. That's the problem with when I say like when it comes to a lot of people, it's like, yeah, in our community, we definitely always want what we can't have. And like you was saying before, that hurt people, and we always tend to do things that, is unconscionable. And I just love the fact that, what, Noah and Wade got married in the end. And I was mad at Patrick Ian Polk for writing that damn scene. But sometimes I guess things have to work out the way they do, and it is what it is. But you know what? I think maybe I was mad at that scene because gays do be messy when it comes to situations like that. Like that has happened. Trust, I know. So, one person said, to be honest, Ricky was dead to me after that scene. Another person said, this is our heated rivalry, and it was better. But this is why I would say, but look, I like heated rivalry, but we definitely need black queer representation. I just saw, what's his name, Jacquel Dante did a video where it was like the lack of black queer representation on TV. Like we barely getting, the regular representation. And for black queer people, it's worse. People still be out here windmilling hard to get, we want Noah's Ark back, but it's not even up to Patrick M. Pope. It's up to the powers that be. And shout out to Patrick M. Pope, by the way. And I'm gonna get to the rest of some of these other comments because Patrick M. Pope just recently sat down and did an interview with T.S. Madison on her Outlaws podcast. And it's definitely something that a lot of people should check out. I will leave the link to that in the description once I'm done with this live. I'll put the episode and stuff down there if y'all want to go directly to the live and click on it instead of having to search for it online. I'll put it in the description. But another person I always wanted to see more of that. It wasn't just Ricky. Wade went along with the kiss. Absolutely. Another person said, baby, we was gagged. Another person said, my 15-year-old son was pissed watching Ricky do that. Another person said, I was obsessed with Ricky before the kiss, so I was heartbroken he would do that to Noah. And another person said, man, Ricky was so easy. I don't know how I feel about him. um, Somebody said, he looks good 21 years later. Oh my, okay. Because he taking care of himself. His mamas look good. But yeah, I don't know how I feel in that situation. I think that would be unforgivable. I don't know how I feel if I had a friend that pulled that type of stunt. But like I said, the gays be messy. The Butch Queens, particularly, and the Film Queens. So definitely check out. Oh, and I also put the link to this full episode down in the thing in case we want to see both. So I'll put the Patrick M. Pope Outlaws one, and I'll put the Gay Magazine. So shout out to Gay Magazine for doing the Lord's work and doing these articles and stuff on a lot of black queer entertainment, because we definitely need a lot more of it in these neck of the woods, especially with this current administration. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I mean, how would you feel if you was in a situation where you was about to jump the broom with your man and your so-called friend, pulled this stunt? Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Mm. I want to watch Noah's Ark, but I already know I'm going to go through some post-Gilmore depression. Once I finish the show in a couple of days, there's also a long list of two that I have the box set. I own the DVDs to Noah's Ark, so I can pop it on anytime. But also, if you have Paramount Plus, it's on there. The show, the both seasons on there, and the movies, including the recent one, which I didn't particularly like, but it's on there. I remember using Madonna's "Don't Tell Me" video. hmm So he's danced a lot with a lot of people. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he? Yeah. Oh yeah, that was like, didn't you also? Yeah, he was in the Drown World Tour. As I always thought of Ricky as the Blanche Devereaux of the group. Samantha was big. Well, yeah. I don't know. It's funny, like if you really want to take it far back, it'd be the Golden Girls, not necessarily Sex in the City. I thought of Brian Kenny from Queer as Folk when I watched it. That's why I said it was like they all had that character of like, there was one was the uptight one, there was one that was more or less the slut, then there was the one that was the Carrie Bradshaw type or whatever, if you want to call it. Then you had the airhead. So yeah, that whole situation, like I said, similar to Noah and Ricky, it was the same situation of Brian and I don't know why I want to say Justin, Brian and Michael. Even though Ricky is loose, let loose, I said let her loose. It still felt out of character for him to do that. I didn't even like the choice they made in that scene. Look, that was Patrick and Paul. Because I was like, why did you write that scene? It did feel kind of out of place. Because there have been many a times in the past during the show where Ricky was flirting with Wade, and Wade's undying loyalty was to Noah and always committed to him. Noah was the one that cheated, remember, in that in the first season. So and then caused their whole breakup and that whole situation that happened in season 2. So he's always kind of thwarted off Ricky's advance. Then we get to jump on the broom, and then this is where we go. But I guess these are ideas that Patrick want just shoved in there because of the behind the scenes politics of trying to get a black show on the air and not trying to compromise some of the stuff, because there was stories that was coming out where he said they wanted him to push interracial relationships on the show. And he has no problem with interracial relationships, but the fact of the matter is he wanted to show true black on black, like real same gender loving, the word that we're going to take from one of my favorite books, B-Boy Blues, same gender loving relationships. I remember when I read that book from James Earl Hardy, that book changed my damn life. That made me feel like, oh my God, somebody who grew up in New York City could have a kind of a love like this. And getting that in the 90s, and truly, I'll tell you, the 90s was the best time to be alive. It's sad that it's like I feel like we're going backwards with stuff, but there was so many great things that came out in like the 90s, from the music to TV shows to books. It was just so much amazing things. It felt like we were just really progressing. And then now we got people who are feeling away, and now I feel like we're going backwards. They're afraid because these streamers know white people won't watch shows for them. So what if it has 100 hours or a million hours? Black TV always have the small but loyal cult following. Or a lot of times they use black people to build their networks. And when it's been put on the map, then there's no use for them. They did it with Fox News. Fox News. They did it with Fox, the regular channel. They did it with CW. They've done it many a times. They did it with Tubi. Black people helped build Tubi, put Tubi on the map. Now y'all pushing them to the side and creating. It's the same thing that continues to happen. But yeah, they don't do niche shows because the numbers they want won't happen. Like you said, only analogy I can make is when Dean cheated on. There you go with them Gilmore Girls. He is obsessed. On one hand, I'd be pissed, but on the other, I'd probably, here you go. That's why I joined. I'm down for a threesome. Yeah, just get it out your head. Like, okay, you got to have sex with my man now. Go about your business. But then again, you don't want to open up that Pandora's box if you're not willing to be into those type of open relationship situations. So I wouldn't even waste my time. Anyway, y'all, we're officially at the end of the show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. I'll probably, if there's anything of interest to come out in the news and hot topics or whatever, I'll do a final show before I take the Christmas break off. I'll probably take tomorrow. Well, then Wednesday is Christmas Eve, and then Thursday is Christmas Day. So I'll probably take those 2 days off, depending, because I want to keep these. I got to keep these algorithms running. You don't want to be going too long. So, yeah, if there's anything of interest, I'm not making any promises. I'll be on tomorrow. If not, I'll probably do a Christmas Eve show. But if there's nothing of interest going on, if it's a little slow news day, then if I can't grab or pull up anything, then it probably won't be a show. But we'll see. I ain't making no promises, as I said before. But I love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support and checking out this crazy, messy show. Hit that like button and subscribe, all the good stuff you have done already one final time. And yeah, love you all for watching. And until next time. Ciao, darlings.